Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Welcome, everyone, for episode... God, what is this, Tommy? Is this 356? Or 396?
Yeah.
396? 396 of the Massenomics podcast, the lifting podcast about nothing. My name is Tanner.
And my name is Tommy.
And Bernie's back there. Bernie's making a little quick cameo for anyone watching on YouTube.
Just barking out the window, being annoying like he always is.
Yeah.
But he can't miss the podcast.
I forgot I wanted to start this episode like this. Hello, hello, hola.
In a place called Vertigo.
Yeah, a lot of more YouTube and U2 and other Irish content to come on this week's episode of the Massenomics podcast. Other many exciting news and updates to run down, but first, I want to tell everyone about, what do I want to tell everyone about this week? I'm going with Juggernaut AI.
Good choice. Good choice.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't go wrong with
the beauty
Juggernaut
of it,
AI.
though, is that we don't have any bad choices in there.
That's true.
That is the
you're
beauty of
bat 1,000% when they're all good choices. They have over 50,000 lifters currently using Juggernaut AI and a whole bunch of 5-star ratings on Apple and Google Play. Check them out. It's an app that you use for your training. You can, if you're a power lifter, it's great. If you're just an athlete that's trying to get stronger. When I say athlete, I mean probably not an athlete, just an average person. I don't even know why I said athlete.
Just
don't have to.
Just a dude or a gal out there.
Just a dude or a gal trying to get stronger. Use Juggernaut AI. There's over 15 plus quadrillion program variations, and I don't know if you know, but that's a lot of program variations.
It's a big number.
Yeah, the reason there's so many is because it adapts to you as you're going. You input your variables, like where you think your weak points are, and then while you're training, you're telling it, did I feel like that set moved well? Was it difficult? Do I need to go up? Do I need to go down? And then at the end of each day, you're giving ratings. Before each day of lifting, you're giving ratings. I think if you've never seen anyone use it or used it before, you'd probably be surprised just at how much feedback you're giving it all the time to help it personalize for you. But you don't have to take my word for it. Check out juggernautai.app. You can sign up for a free trial there, or just get signed up. Use discount code Massenomics. It'll save you 10% for the lifetime of that membership at juggernautai.app.
And this episode is also brought to you by SwissLink. In 1995, Maurice Big Mo Huffman founded SwissLink with the mission to bring authentic Swiss Army goods to the United States and into the hands of those yearning for quality gear at uncompromised prices. Now, for nearly 3 decades, Big Mo has been traveling far and wide in search of the best items from military forces around the world. Big Mo doesn't only find authentic military clothing for SwissLink, he brings in everything you can imagine, from Swiss bayonets to Czech microscopes. SwissLink.com is also home to the SwissLink Classic Wool Blankets. They're an ideal mix of 80% wool and 20% recycled fibers. It's that special blend that provides a soft, luxurious feel while maintaining all the benefits of wool. Wish you could wear them year-round? Well, now you can with the SwissLink Classic Wool Pants. That's right, wool pants. SwissLink's exceptional collection and dedication to quality customer service distinguishes them from the rest. Enjoy a 15% discount on your next purchase at SwissLink.com by entering code MASS at checkout. That's MASS to save 15% at SwissLink.com. Thank you, SwissLink.
This is a special daytime recording of the Massenomics podcast.
Daytime already feels like it's kind of off, and then the fact that I've only recorded in this room twice, I feel like I'm basically not even recording at a place. I'm so thrown off right now. I'm constantly checking the board and the camera because I'm assuming they're not recording. I'm
You're out of your element, Donnie.
I am.
Is that a quote? Is that a correct quote?
That is
butchering that.
No, Big Lebowski. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Got it right. So it is a lot different. It looks pretty bright behind you. A lot of daylight popping in there, isn't there?
There is a lot of light just pouring on in.
No natural light in my rat hole, though. Just stuck down here in my
hole
hole
with
with no
light. Dingy basement. Got sewer water all around the t-shirts.
There's been been really big goings-ons though in the life of Massenomics. I had huge news this week.
You had two.
saw the results of the American Pro powerlifting meet.
Yes, you had that. Okay, yes, you had that. You also had two once-in-a-lifetime things happen, Tanner. Do you know what they are?
You have to tell me.
I guess I shouldn't say once in a lifetime. I should say like two incredibly rare life events happen. One, you had a baby, and two, Dr. Mike posted a video of us.
That's what it was. Yeah, that's And as I said in our text message, two.
He said both equally are both very important. I believe was the words. And I'm like, you know what? You do have a good point there. Those both are incredibly important.
Because you had congratulated me on the new baby, and then also, literally right at that same time, Dr. Mike and RP Strength had reposted that, and I said, yes, two equally important
two
events
equally
in my
great
life.
achievements in 1 week. Yep, that's what you said.
It was, just to touch on the Dr. Mike part of it, it was cool to see Renaissance Periodization use a piece of our podcast on their main page.
Also fun to see how they edit it, because ours was just the podcast. We just let it run. But it was cool to see them take our footage and sprinkle a little RP magic on it.
Yeah. And that does not go unnoticed by us in terms of like that. We see value back in that when they post a video of us, and it gets 100,000 views of our mugs on the YouTube screen in the first day. That is great for Massenomics. So that is super cool. I was excited about that. I was excited about the most important thing that happened to me this week, Renaissance Periodization. That's the running joke, right? As every time we have someone on the show has a baby, we talk about the other things that happened that were really important in their lives.
Yep. But you also did have a new family PR, so that is...
Yeah, I did hit the new family PR. So supporting members this week, I'm supporting me, the new family PR. We did add our fourth, a new son, my second son. So now we're at the $1 million family times two, so to speak. I guess it's a $2 million family. We just grew exponentially.
Or is it exponential where it's a million times a million? I don't know.
Yeah, then that's a number that I don't know how to even say.
We got to get an accountant in here or something.
Yeah, it feels like it was exponential. So everyone's healthy and back at home now. And it's been very busy and hectic, but everything went really well. And we're really excited to get back home. And we were talking, I won't go into all the details, but even though I've been to the hospital a number of times and gone through this before, obviously me doing the easy part there, I forget just how wild of a trip that all is. It's pretty crazy, everything that goes on there, and the hospital staff and the technology that's getting used to aid the process and
the machines.
Yeah, it's insane that was happening, in farmsteads not that long ago, and then caves and stuff like that before. I'm I don't know how that's possible that anyone lived that, enough people lived for the species to be carried on.
Yeah, that the success rate was over 50% somehow.
Right. So yeah, we're back at home. It's Big Cy is second boy to the family. So just one more, and I can field a full Noon Crew basketball team.
Oh, well, okay. Yep, you always got to have goals, so that's a good goal to have.
That's the one of the doctors said, "Oh, just one more for a hockey team," and I'm like, listen, doc, we are not a hockey family here. We play noon ball."
Yes, yeah, we're ballers in this household, and that's not baseball. You said, right?
No. So yeah, that's good
congratulations.
News.
Very exciting stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited. And you just moved the week before, so we got all kinds of what is that in health insurance when you have an event that allows you to make changes?
Yeah,
a qualifying event.
There you go.
We have a lot of important qualifying life events going on here, didn't we?
Yeah, we like to knock them all out at once.
Massenomics ever evolving, but all this going on, and still have we missed an episode in 396 straight weeks? No. You can't keep us down.
We're here.
I don't care how much important family stuff's going on. We're still going to podcast.
They're still number 2 in the priority list. No, they're not. That's why we're recording at noon today.
Right. But there was, in some seriousness, there. I feel like there's in this last week, there's been we have a lot of stuff on our list here. There's a lot of different things that have been going on that we could be talking about here. And like
Absolutely.
it's been quite obviously I've been behind the 8 ball and keeping track of some of this stuff. Definitely behind the 8 ball. We got a lot of stuff on there. I feel like it's worth mentioning Brian. Like I want to talk about that really bad, so we might as well not bury the lead on this one.
Can I, because you experienced it firsthand, I feel like I came to it more as just the everyday man.
Right.
So what day was that on even?
Must have been back on like
It's like Friday or Saturday or something.
Yeah, because what post was that on?
It was talking about John Hack and the American Pro. So it must have been Thursday.
Oh, it was the
Friday,
Taylor
right?
Swift post, of course. Yeah. So that was 5 days ago.
Okay, so this is a fairly historic, very, very, at the very least, noteworthy event in Massenomics history. And so what day did you say that was?
That was 5 days ago,
Okay.
so like Friday-ish.
All right,
Yeah.
so yeah, Friday, Tanner
Yeah,
makes...
Friday, because I posted it about
Yes.
about Taylor Swift being at the American Pro to watch.
Yeah, so Tanner
John
makes just
Hack.
a dumb meme because
Yes.
all the sports center, all those accounts are just hyping up Taylor Swift being at these football games.
Which I knew that was going to
the
be a good
Chiefs.
meme. I'd thought of that like
Yes.
2 weeks ago, and I'm like, I'm sitting on this until like the eve of the American Pro because I knew that had to be a good one. You know, I
Absolutely.
just was confident.
And it is
Yeah.
a meme in itself, this whole thing of how Taylor Swift always has to be shown 1,000 times at the football games.
Right.
Hey, you know what? If you don't make a big deal about it, it's not a big deal. The people making a big deal about it, that's the reason it's a big deal. So
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care. She's on there for her 2 seconds. You know what? They do at sporting events. They show famous people. So get over it. That's how it
Yes.
goes. So who cares?
And she's like one of the most famous people.
Yes. They're not showing her because no one knows who she is. They're showing her because everyone knows who she is.
Also, you know, like I feel like it's polarizing a lot of people that making them not like her, or you know, or at least people are saying that. I feel like to me it's had somewhat. I have absolutely no idea why. I can't explain it. But before I had no opinion of her, and now I'm kind of like, I don't know. I kind of like Taylor Swift now. I'm not really sure why.
Football. And
That's why I'm like, I don't know. She seems really nice and like.
she's not the one.
like-
I mean, maybe there's something crazy going on behind the scenes, but she's not the one contacting the NFL broadcasting
No.
group and saying, "Hey, make sure you show me 10 times a game." This isn't her
Right.
fault. It's the NFL's fault. So if you're mad, be mad at the NFL, not at Taylor Swift. But
And just as a dude here talking, like there could be worse things for them to put on my television screen than Taylor Swift. Honestly,
honestly,
I don't mind.
out of all the things
Like-
the NFL does, if this is the thing you're picking to be mad at and then put a flag in the ground, like, okay, yeah, your priorities are a little jacked up if this is what's got you upset. But so you make a meme where you take the Taylor Swift image and you basically say that she will be at the American Pro to watch John Hack, you know, riding off this whole wave of her going to football games, which I thought when I saw the meme right away, I thought, hey, this is really funny because you do like the breaking news thing on it, which is so dumb and it catches your attention. You can't not see that. And then my first thought when I looked down was, wow, there's a lot of comments on this post, like immediately. And I think, oh, I got to see what's going on here. And the first thing I see is a guy named Brian. And dear old Brian, I don't want to misquote.
Unfollowed.
Was that all it was?
Thanks for making that so easy.
Yes. So Brian was very upset that meme account made a meme with Taylor Swift in it. Did not like that at all.
Somewhat unclear a little bit to exactly what he didn't like about it, but you assume, I guess the assumption is he's like, you assume he's saying, I'm so sick of seeing Taylor Swift, unfollowed for that reason. Like, that's what you think, right?
I gotta get out of here. I can't take. Like his head's on the verge of exploding. And I see that comment pinned at the top, which is kind of funny. And then I also see that was like 50 comments underneath it at the time. And I'm like, oh my God, what is going on here?
Yeah.
And the comments just go on and on and on of people just a mix of like pretending to be sad that Brian's left.
Yes,
Most of them
yes.
were acting like sad and like there was a major loss that Brian was gone. Some of them were just giving shit back to him. But the comment thread was hilarious there. And then immediately the meme started popping in. And I got to say right now, the meme that made me laugh the hardest, all the memes about Brian leaving the account, the meme that made me laugh the hardest was the George Bush one from
like you just like there
getting
was like it's on 9/11
message, and he's like, Brian has left, Brian has unfollowed. And I was laughing so hard when I read that because it's so extreme and stupid.
This not an exaggeration. The day when that Brian stuff was going on and we were sharing all the memes that people were making, I can't remember the last time I had so many people DM and respond to, actually never have so many people responded to story posts saying how much they were enjoying something. Like, and I won't name names, but some of the people that mentioned how much they were loving following this Brian thing, there'd just be some very well-known people in this industry, and a lot of them that messaged and said, I love the Brian thing. And I think I was thinking about it, part of the reason they probably all appreciate it too, some of those larger accounts, they're very used to seeing like a comment like that on their posts.
Oh God, it's because everyone just has to have their voice heard. Like, oh, you've crossed the line.
Right.
I'm going to really stick it to you.
Right.
And then you think, this is the dumbest thing. No one cares at all, Mr.
Right.
Against
so then
authority.
everyone feels a little justified to see like the community rallying around one of these idiotic comments and just being like, no, we're just, and not even like picking on the guy, but just taking it so far that it's just like,
I don't think anyone was like personally going after him.
No.
It was all just directed at his dumb comment.
right.
Which is hilarious.
So what I was curious I wonder if Brian has any idea about what, and it's funny either way. It doesn't make a difference.
It is
but
funny
just out of
either way.
curiosity.
And also the amazing part is Brian kind of has his fate in his own hands. He could embrace this and come back in, and he would
people would champion him if he like,
to quote one of the best bands of the last 20 years, he would come with arms wide open, and people would just embrace him and love him. And it would be so hilarious if he admitted to what happened and then came back in and was like, I'm wrong, but I'm back. It would be like another page in the history book. Yeah.
Yes. It would be so well received if he was like, if he
would probably gain a ton of followers on the spot because people think it's so hilarious. So it's up to him. He's got two paths on the road. One, do that, embrace it, and come back. The other one is just disappear forever, and no one will care except that Brian will forever be a part of Massenomics lore.
Yes. No one will ever say Brian. It's also nothing wrong with the name Brian. It's just I don't know why. I can't imagine that guy's name not being Brian at this point in time. Like it's like I just feel like of course your name was Brian. Like I don't know why. It just would feel weird. It just like that was the perfect name for him to leave that comment. So yeah, Brian. Oh, and then someone. It was the week of really good comments. Then too, someone left a comment on a video of me deadlifting, saying that I have no quad. I should actually find his comment. I pinned that. This was to less fame than Brian, but still people latched on a little bit because it was right in the aftermath of Brian. So it was kind of funny. Yes, homie has no quads. And then there's 42 following comments on that because I pinned it. So I love a bad comment and pinning it, and nothing gives us better engagement than someone leaving like
just the dumbest
poor spirited. Yeah. And I didn't even know, like, here I've got my list of 15 things I'm self-conscious about. Never once has it been my quads. Now I'm like,
quads
great.
on the list now.
Yeah.
That
now
moves
I'm like
right
small,
up to the top.
Yeah, now I have to add small legs to the thing I'm worried about. I've never in my life felt like I had small legs, and now I have to have this.
Oh, I thought you were going to
thing.
say this brought back some PTSD of middle school, where everyone told you had chicken legs
Like
your whole life.
razz me on my lack of quads.
You know, you were 70 pounds bigger than everyone, but you had just chicken legs the whole time.
Yeah. Thank God we got that hack squat, so I can really try and make these quads
build
pop
the
now.
quads.
My God. Yeah. Didn't know I was. I wish, like, I'm like that guy that nobody will tell that he has this thing wrong with him, and like,
as soon as you walk by, everyone's like, "Oh my God, there he goes again." He has no idea.
He doesn't even have quads. How is he standing upright without quads? Yes,
that's what the internet's for.
Brian gone, but never forgotten. Brian,
not at all.
Did you find yourself a new gym? Is that
I went to a new gym, and there was a couple funny things about my experience. So I went.
What's the gym?
It is called Frontier Fitness, and surprisingly enough, like our friend Grant Brogy, it is a climbing gym that also has a gym in it.
What are the odds of that?
I don't know. Grant,
is this a chain?
When I told Grant this, he seemed to think that, that's a fairly common thing. But I had never actually been in a real climbing gym where they have rock climbing walls that go, 60 feet high or whatever. When those things are way up there, damn, those things are big. But The gym part is in
the squat rack's at the top of the mountain. So every time you want to do squats, you have to climb. You have to ascend the
and they have
rock wall.
Atlas stones you can just roll off the top. It's just a real wacky time up there. But
it's actually it's Guts from Nickelodeon. Like, every time you lift, it's like ascending the Aggro Crag.
Yes, the Aggro Crag. There's smoke machines everywhere to the detriment of your health, but it looks cool.
Guts.
But the actual
there's
gym
a British
part,
lady announcing for some reason.
She
the
just
lady
checks
with
in
a
at
British
the
accent.
desk every day.
Yeah.
There is the gym part is in a different room than the climbing room though, so I don't see that part. But I walk in, I go, hey, can I get the tour quick, look around, and just make sure everything's
10,000 foot view.
Right. Yes, I don't want to be caught off guard signing up for something that it's a bad call for me. So the guy's like, for sure. So we go into the gym area, and I got to say, for a commercial gym, I am pretty surprised how much stuff they have packed in there. It's not at elite FTS level, but it's packed pretty full. And I'm doing the loop around, all pretty standard stuff. I was shocked to see the Rogue reverse hyper in there. I really did not think there'd be one of those.
Same one we have, the Z reverse hyper.
Is there a slightly different one?
There's a different one. There's a little bit less beefy one.
Yes, it's that one. That's a little less beefy. Yes.
Yeah. But all in all, is probably just as good, really.
And I thought it was very funny, very timely. When we walked in, he goes, okay, just so you know, we've been having some issues with the music, so there's nothing playing right now.
Did you almost laugh? Like, am I on Impractical Jokers?
Oh, man, dude, I got a story for you, man. Sit down. This is going to take a while. But he goes, so, just hopefully get it fixed soon, but, probably bring your headphones or something in the meantime. So I thought that was really funny, and I'm making
that's reassuring to me. I feel like okay, we're not the only ones.
It's not just me. Okay, it does happen out there. And I'm looking around, and I think, hey, I think I know that guy by the dumbbells over there. And I do a closer look, and I say yes. And this character goes back to the very, very first days of Massenomics. Do you have any idea who this could be?
Oh, the first days of Massenomics?
I should say the earliest year of Massenomics.
Oh, I don't know. Boy. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm just not sure if I'm even processing in the right direction.
So I walked over, and it was big Aaron Worley. Oh, the Whirly Bird. The Whirly Bird. Oh, nice. So I went and chatted with him for a moment. We had.
He lives in Sioux Falls?
He does. Yeah, I think he said he's lived here for a few years now. And
really?
We had to do some reconnecting.
He'd be hard to miss.
Mm-hmm. The last time we had seen each other, we were both drunk at the end of a Vikings game. And that was like 4 years ago. Yeah. And then before that, he goes, before that, probably last time I saw you was when we did that powerlifting meet in like 2018.
Yeah.
Or even 2016 maybe? Yes.
Maybe. Yeah, I would say 2016 in Rapid City.
Mm-hmm. So now I've seen him 3 times in my life.
So he lifts there. Did he have any did he give you the...
He said this is the best gym on this end of town. He said there are other gyms, but...
And he would know. I would trust his opinion.
Yes.
He would have a good take on that.
Yeah, so I got to do a little catching up with him. And that day I was just checking out the gym. Yesterday I actually got to go lift. If I had to give my honest critique of it, things that I don't like, there's no racks. It's just a rig, which I do not prefer that as much. I would prefer a rack any day.
Like where you're...
Well, it's annoying because the weights,
yeah,
it's a rig, so it's all spread out, and the weights are way on the end. So you got to walk over like 15, unless you're lifting at the one on the edge. But so that's kind of annoying. And then what was the other thing? Oh,
I just wondered the feel. Like when you're in a rig, it's like anyone could be anywhere. Mm-hmm. Like they could just I'm making hand motions, like they walk around you and through you and stuff. And if you're in a rack, it's like, that person's on that rack.
Yes, it feels very clear what's happening when you're in the rack. Yeah, this person has it. So that would be my biggest knock against it, which when you're actually lifting isn't that big of a deal. Right. The other thing that I did not care for as much was, what was I going to say? Bars are so-so, which is whatever, I guess. Commercial gym
barbells with center knurl.
They at least have center knurl, yes. Okay. Yeah, without center knurl, that would be annoying.
It's kind of like a basic... if you get to that level, you're like, okay, I can make this work, you know?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, okay. The other thing I was going to say, all of the entire rig is in front of a mirror, which is kind of annoying to squat facing a mirror. I could potentially.
Could you flip the J hooks and
You
squat,
could on the other side, but also the gap between the rig and the wall is only a couple feet, so you'd have to.
So the
play
rig
that.
doesn't stick out like 4 feet or something like that.
It's probably 3, which is just borderline to where you'd want to be. So that's the other annoying part. But those are my 2 biggest knocks, which aren't terrible.
That would take a little getting used to for me. That's for sure.
Yeah. So we'll see how that part goes. Maybe I'll have something else in mind, but.
The mirror would be the bigger thing to me, even than like the rig. I'm just like, I just don't want that mirror. But I bet I bet you could squat the other direction.
Yeah, I think so. That's why, like, you can do something about that one. That one's not the end of the world, so I'm not too worried about that. But yeah, I got one lift in. There was 3 people there the entire time I was there, so it had Massenomics gym vibes where you just basically have the place yourself.
It? Like square foot compared to like Massenomics gym?
It's actually
like twice as big.
It's actually pretty big. I don't know if you'd say is it because what are the 2 rooms together? How wide is each room at Massenomics?
Maybe like 45 feet. 40
so if
feet.
you did the whole square, it'd be 90 by 90-ish.
Yeah.
I'd say it's still a little bigger than that, but they have it packed full of so many machines. That's what really throws you off, is there's so many machines in that thing.
Yeah, I'm being too generous at 45 feet. It'd actually be less than that. I wonder if it'd be more like 35 feet wide.
See, my uneducated rough guess was going to be the room is about 100 by 100.
Yeah, okay.
Is what I was thinking. It's just
so
a
it's
big
pretty
square.
big.
It is fairly big, yes. But they have a lot of hammer strength stuff. You know, they have a slightly shittier version of the hammer row that we have. The Massenomics one is nicer.
The hammer strength ISO low row.
Yes, this one has more of a
classic piece of equipment.
A pin adjustment for the seat, where ours is. I don't even know what you call that. The way the seat adjusts on ours.
Yeah, I don't know what you call that. It's like a ladder, kind of. Yeah, almost. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. A dedicated decline bench.
I've had conversations with people about like this dedicated decline bench is the biggest. Okay, this isn't even a hot take. I just can't imagine someone that's well into the strength training world disagreeing with this. But a dedicated decline bench, if space is of any concern at all, is a waste of space.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree.
But
they have like 2 or 3 benches and then a dedicated incline bench and a dedicated decline bench. I'm not sure I've ever seen
dedicated incline bench. I don't have a problem with.
Dedicated incline bench is nice. I like having that. They are convenient, but they do eat up space. Is the downside of those.
Right. But at least it's a useful piece of equipment. You know, at least to some degree.
Probably the nicest stuff. Actually, it's funny. They have the exact same leg press and hack squat that the last gym I was at. The exact same. It's a Matrix. I think Matrix was the brand. And then surprisingly enough, all of their flat benches are rep benches, which is kind of an odd bench for a commercial gym. But rep adjustable benches.
They are
I thought they
made and
I'd never used one.
Decent price too.
Mm-hmm. I'd never used one, and I just kind of gave the thing the once over, and it seemed really sturdy, and it was adjustable.
I think
the adjustable and the flat benches. So enough to get strong. Use my strength in there.
Stay strong. All that stuff. Did Whirlybird, was he aware of Massenomics? Did he ask, does he know that Massenomics still exists? Or,
well, I had this Massenomics sweatshirt on when I went in, and he asked what I do.
Big topic of conversation.
He asked what I do, and I said, I have a web design business, and then me and Tanner, we still got the Massenomics thing going on. And I'm not sure if he thought that was a hobby, or
because in 2016 it was a much different thing than it is in 2023.
Yeah, so I couldn't quite tell if he was up with what was going on or not.
He probably isn't.
Yeah, I wasn't sure there.
The old Whirlybird.
But,
so new gym.
If he's not familiar yet, he will be soon.
He's about to be. So overall, though, good vibes. It sounds like.
Yeah, good vibes.
Is there a safety squat bar?
No, that's actually the biggest thing that if I could have a request,
that safety squat
would
bar
be a safety squat bar. That'd be. I mean, I guess if I also had to make a request, it'd be for there to be racks, but that's a much bigger expense than what, $300 or $400 on a safety squat bar. So that's where I would make a request if I could put one in.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. Do you have a can at all? Maybe you don't have a can.
I don't. I just got cool, crisp, flat water today.
Hey, I had a water too. I was eating lunch right before we go, so I had to have my H2O. I'm a little running behind the 8-ball kind of on things. So I also
kids, right?
Kids. Am I right? I've had one of these before on here. One of my wife's milk chocolate delight Atkins protein rich shake, and I choose this because it is in our refrigerator, and I need something to eat right now.
You had when we were coming back from Ohio. You had a Fairlife chocolate milk, and I had never had that before, so I had to get one. I went at the grocery store, and I gotta say, that stuff is surprisingly good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It has, I like it. Could be overrated though because it seems to have a big following around it.
Yeah,
I think it is kind of expensive, but I'm a fan of it also at the same time. And this is just fine, but I could eat just about my palate is so unrefined on things like this. I've said many times I don't really give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
So the Atkins Milk Chocolate Delight Protein Rich Shake. Just for curiosity, what does this thing got in it? 160 calories, 5 carbs, 15 grams of protein, 9 grams of fat.
Loaded up.
So it's not a chicken bake, but whatever.
Oh, speaking of that, I had to make a Costco run the other day. So of course I got a chicken bake on my way out, and at first I thought I got duped. Well, my first bite of the chicken bake, I bit it and it was hollow. There was nothing in there. And I'm looking down the crevice of the chicken bake, and I can see that there's chicken down there. So I had a couple empty bites, and then by the time I got to the bottom, I was just eating mouthfuls of chicken. So it was loaded a little wrong.
Maybe it was like a toothpaste tube. You needed
that or an icy. You have to squeeze squeeze the chicken to the top.
They should actually make it like a push pop, where it has the thing.
A device
and push.
yeah. You don't actually eat the bread. That's just to hold the chicken in place.
Have you ever had a Flintstones push pop before?
Yes, dude. When we were kids, that was where it was at.
Be a kid and have a Flintstones push pop, and tell me that's not the most delicious thing you could have.
That's what it's all about.
Sticky, such a sticky mess too.
I thought you were going to say Flintstone vitamin at first.
That too.
Flintstones really had the food game down. In the early
push
90s.
pop. Is the Flintstones push pop dead?
That's a good question.
Do you think your kids have ever had a push pop?
They have.
Is that the right term? Is that what that ice cream thing?
Yeah, I typed it in. Push. This says push up. Actually, is what the brand says here. Flintstones push ups. Yeah, we used to always get those. Actually, we would typically get ours from the Schwann's Man.
I feel like a lot of them were orange.
Yes.
Like the flavor inside of them was orange.
This is the picture I pulled up on Google right here. It's
yeah,
Yabba Dabba Doo orange.
If you haven't had one of those, you have not lived. Although that does not sound good to me.
Not
actually.
Especially. I'm not a huge sherbet guy in the first place.
But if you're 7, those are really good.
Mm-hmm.
There's just something about how disgustingly sticky you get from a push pop that can't be replicated with other cold treats.
They had that formula down perfectly. But when I was at Costco,
I'll measure my ice cream treat delivery ranking by how messy they can make me.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm just lucky. My boy loves just the Freezy Pops, and he's at the point where he can reliably eat them without creating an enormous mess, which feels like a huge
because those are mess makers for sure. Absolutely.
Yep. Until you get that down, you're pushing it out, and the juice and the popsicle are both falling on the ground.
Yes.
So we've evolved. We're past that stage now. But the Costco. Okay, I got a chicken bake. One thing I did not notice until afterwards, people were replying to my story, was that on the menu there was also a Costco roast beef sandwich. And this must be new because I do not remember seeing this exist before.
Go on.
I believe, though, I was in a hurry. So, like I said, I did not notice it in passing. I believe it was listed for like $8. So this is a much more of a premium.
Wow.
A premium object compared to a $4 chicken bake.
It better have like 90 grams of
protein.
Well,
and I was just looking at that. And we know how notoriously hard it can be to track down
the accuracy too.
Yes, the accuracy of the Costco chicken bake. But the protein is looking like it's around, depending on where you look, between 45 and 54 grams of protein. So
okay,
nothing. Oh, and it's actually
kind of expect that in a big roast beef sandwich, though, too.
You do, yes, but it's also $10. My pricing was wrong. $10 for a roast beef sandwich.
Wow, they're proud of those things, aren't they?
Yeah, they're apparently trying to make some money off of those. Unlike
that's
the other
2.5 chicken bakes.
I know, and that's what I thought to myself: is this 2.5 times better than a chicken bake?
Yeah, 2.5.
I have a hard time believing.
Checks out.
I have a very hard time believing it's 2.5 times better than chicken bake. So, what we're trying to say is just save your money, get the chicken bake.
Yeah. Okay. Our guest isn't here yet, is he?
No, not at the moment.
Well, I'm gonna do a little supporting our supporting members. This is a little segment we do each week on the podcast. It's a relatively new segment. We have supporting members. You could become a supporting member if you'd like. We'd love to have you. Go to our website. It's massenomics.com/join. We have several different levels that you can choose to sign up at. Supporting memberships comes with a whole bunch of perks. It's essentially Perk City. You get a discount code that's exclusive to you. You get to go listen to the podcast live like people are on right now. You get access to our online Discord community that you only get through a supporting membership. You get your chance of us talking about you and supporting our supporting members. So this week, Big Daniel competed at the American Pro. Maybe we'll talk a little bit more about the American Pro later, but he had a great meet. And interestingly enough, he had torn a pec because of our episode where we talked about the reverse grip bench press. Well, I don't know what episode was that.
Jimmy Cole.
I don't know. Yeah, Big Jimmy. When Big Jimmy Cole,
10
maybe
weeks or so.
Yeah. Talk about the reverse grip bench press. He utilized that, benched over 400 pounds. I think he did like 435. It looked easy.
It did. It looked so easy, and that is
great.
That's Massenomics saving lives right there. We basically put out a public service announcement saying if problems come up in your bench, go to reverse bench.
Yes,
he does
a true
that.
Success story,
and can still reverse bench over 400 in a meet. That is awesome. I was psyched. He has a great video for it on his YouTube or on his Instagram too.
Yes, make sure to check that out. It's awesome. Then Big Jordan was also competing. What Jordan was this? Oh, Big Jordan Wong was competing at the American Pro, and I think he summed it up in a post. He basically said it was not the meet he wanted, but we've all been there before, haven't we?
That happens.
Yeah, but still, congrats to Big Jordan showing up at the big stage.
Also had a Massenomics singlet on.
Yeah, yes, that's very noteworthy. I loved seeing the Massenomics singlet screenshots of him. Then Big Matthew was competing down, where's he live now? I think he's in Nebraska, right? Big Matthew, former Massenomics gym member. He hit a 460 squat, 275 bench, 530 deadlift for a 1265 PR. Then we had Big Arm Tattoo Dan, Big Dan with the arm tats. He had a static monsters comp where he had a 320 log and a 727-pound, 18-inch height deadlift.
Dan ain't messing around.
Big numbers. Put those arm tattoos to use. Big Chris Mark, who trains with Big Keith at the No Wine Cellar. And sometimes I knew these names and I remember faces, and I saw a picture of Big Chris Mark with Keith just this week, and I thought, I do know him. I remember him from the Arnold, talking to him at the Arnold. I hadn't realized he was a supporting member, or I hadn't pieced the name with the face, and now I know who Big Chris Mark is. And he had a 415 squat, 265 bench, and a 455 deadlift for an 1135 total. Then Big Jesse had a meet. He had a 518 squat, 341 bench, and a 518 deadlift. Great job, everyone, this week.
Okay.
Supporting our supporting members.
I had to go back and look. You said Chris Mark, and I knew I saw the picture of the guys just like a week ago at Keith's. Looking at this immediately, there's three of them.
Yep.
Obviously, it's not Keith. The one guy I thought, I don't know this one, Chris Mark. Yep, I remember that guy too.
You remember talking to him this year at the Arnold, don't you?
Uh-huh.
Yes. Yep, absolutely. He was a very fun guy. The mushroom joke that I like to pull out. He's a fun guy. I remember talking to him at the Arnold this year. He came by a couple times, if I remember right.
I think so.
So thank you to our supporting members. Should I hit an ad now, do you think?
Might as well. He's not here yet.
All right, maybe you want to hit an ad first, then, just in case he shows up after that, and then I
can
could
get to it here. Today's show is also brought to you by Texas Power Bars. Buddy Caps first started lifting weights in the late 60s and began powerlifting in the mid-70s. At the time, he was working for Image Barbell building gym equipment. Around 1976, a local machine shop started making Olympic bars for them, calling it the Image Bar. Fast forward to today, and Buddy has set out... Sorry. I'm jumping my timeline all over here, Tanner. I want to back this up for a minute. In 1977, Image Barbell became Champion Barbell. It was then that Buddy started looking at the bars with an intent of changing them for the better. Fast forward to today, and Buddy has released the 29mm Texas Power Bar. It is strong as a house with the best knurling, and it is maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, and world powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on Texas Power Bars. To learn more about Texas Power Bars and buy one of their legendary bars, visit TexasPowerBars.com.
Thank you, Texas Power Bars.
I thought I got thrown off because I thought our guest was here, but it was actually Dutch Matt. So he's
Well, he's from the right part of the world, kind of, right?
We're getting warmer. I could tell. Yes.
You know, an interesting thing about Dutch Matt and his more up tempo shoes, and I ordered those more up tempo shoes.
Yes. Have yours arrived yet?
No, because they came from the Netherlands.
Oh, they did. So that must have been a European release then.
It must have been that. I'm like that really. I'm just actually gonna check right now and make sure I'm not. I want to say the name of the town. It was from Oudmeer, and I had to look it up, and it was like the Netherlands. I'm like, Dutch Matt has all the frickin' shoes there, doesn't he?
It's be even funnier if all of a sudden you received his size 16 or whatever he wears shoes. It was actually him the whole time.
That's like, I'm not going to get my correct size. They're going to be Matt's used enormous shoes that won't fit my feet.
Yeah.
While we're waiting for our guest, there was a lot of other things going on here, wasn't there?
There is a lot in here.
Okay.
I could probably do a quick one here if you want me to bang out a quick one here?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so this last weekend was Halloween. In true Discord fashion, I had to go as a Will Ferrell character. I went as Ricky Bobby.
Oh yeah, you had a great costume. That's
from
right.
Talladega Nights. In case anyone's wondering, that was actually my wife's idea. She loves Will Ferrell and she loves Talladega Nights, so that's what she wanted us to go as. And I said, I will not argue with you on this one. I will gladly do that. And we know how Will Ferrell can be polarizing to a certain select few in our Discord. What I thought was funny, though, is when we went to the house where the Halloween party was, the people hosting the party were Ron Burgundy and Veronica Corningstone, which was even funnier. And not only did they have very elaborate costumes, but they had posters around their house of their faces photoshopped onto the different posters and marketing materials from the movie.
Did their house smell of old leather-bound books?
It very much did. And one other interesting part of their house, it was a very unique house, but it did have a home gym in it, and they gave us the home gym tour, and it was decked out in Rogue stuff, which is not typically what you expect to find in a home gym. And they also had a rhino. Not many people have the home rhino belt squat, but they had the home rhino belt squat. Yes, so
they had a legit gym.
It was pretty good. Yes, you could definitely lift some weights in there. So
do you think they're heavy lifters of weights, or are they more like they're into fitness?
I think they're more casual lifters. Yeah. They're definitely not doing meets or anything as far as I'm aware.
Right.
Yeah, they just have the goods in there.
Yeah, that's so did you guys get a picture with a Will Ferrell theme?
We totally forgot. By the time we left, we were like, damn it, we forgot to actually get a picture. What were we thinking here?
That would have been good too.
Now that I think about it, either my wife or them have a picture. I should try and track that down. One of them does have the picture, so I'll see if I can find that.
Keith, what's that called when you're shaking your fist in the air right now? Punching air. Yes. Keith's punching air right now. That is so. How did you decide on your costume? Had you had that in the works for a while, or
no? That's what Leah said. We're gonna do Talladega Nights, and I said, okay, if you want to. And she said, here's all the stuff I'm ordering right now. And I said, all right, if that's what you want, I'm all for it. Let's do it.
You know why I think those are either Ron Burgundy or Talladega Nights, where those are great costume choices now, because I think costumes, like, for a while, like when something's new and trendy, then it's really cool. And then there's probably a period in time where it's like, oh, you're the Joker again for the fifth. Like, everyone's been the Joker for the last 4 years. Like, stop being the Joker. But then, like, it goes far enough. Like, now you can almost be the Joker again, and you're like, oh yeah. Why so serious? Yes.
Anchorman, what did we say? Is that 2003 or 2004? That's a 20-year-old movie at this point.
Right.
It's hard to not
so
say
like
that's
cool,
retro.
Right.
And what was the year on Talladega Nights? Let's see here. 2006. That's damn near 20 years old. That's closing in on that too. So, it makes them classics now.
Okay. Just to put this in so we make sure we're framing our timing right. There could be some confusion with our guest that could be 1 hour later. So are we able to continue to podcast right now for 53 more minutes without him if we need to do that?
Yeah, we could probably do that. We could probably talk about stuff
as
for
we talk about anything.
More minutes.
Let's keep that in mind, that we could potentially be going here for
Okay, so should I retell my Halloween story and drag it out this time?
Start over on the Halloween story and talk at 50% speed, please.
I will say one thing. In a perfect world, if I could have had my way, my brother Ryan would have been there, and he would have been, was it Jean Girard, the French?
That would have been. He would have been good too.
Which would have been hilarious. That was the only thing I thought that would have made it even funnier.
Yeah, that would have been good.
We could talk about the Highlander.
Okay. No. So do I need to read one more ad?
You need to read an ad. Yes, it is your turn.
But you already did.
I already did. Yep.
Okay. I'm doing like a few things at once here. So
I can tell. That's how it goes.
Sometimes okay. So I am going to read an ad though, and we probably are going to get them on in closer to 2, but I think we can still make that work, right?
Oh yeah.
We're adaptable. It's called, in the Army, we call that being Gumby, because you're always flexible. You can adapt to any situation. It's like if we are a state of matter, we are more liquid than we are solid, aren't we?
That's funny that you say being Gumby, because I don't know why, but one day I was trying to show my boy some Gumby videos on YouTube, and man, old Gumby videos are really shitty. And he just thought it was funny that it's this green guy. Well, then when we were driving down the road one day, there was one of those wacky arm inflatable things.
Oh, yeah.
He goes,
He's like,
look,
Gumby.
Daddy, it's Gumby. And so now whenever we see those are Gumby to us. So
Gumby, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's Pokey.
I
little
think so
red
too.
horse.
Yep.
Is it Pokey?
The horse is Pokey, I believe.
Yeah. Gumby seems really old. Is Gumby made in like the 50s?
I think it was, yes. Because I was
Okay.
looking at it the one day. I believe it was in the 50s.
Yeah. Scant said Semper Gumby. Yes, always Gumby. Always Gumby. That's absolutely right. While you're looking at that, I am going to talk about we're going to talk about our good friends over at the Strength Co. Note on that. Maybe we'll touch on it a little bit more here in a few minutes too, but they've got their booth location locked in for the Arnold here. We'll talk a little bit more about the Arnold later, so you'll be able to check them out in Columbus this upcoming 2024 March. Be able to check out the Strength Co. and their booth. They always know how to turn it up when they get to the Arnold. The Strength Co. crew does, and we'll be doing it right along with them. But until then, check out thestrength.co. That's where you can find the best made in America, black, E-coated, smooth, yet easy to grip, machined edge, tight tolerance on your barbell plates around. At thestrength.co, their Olympic iron barbell plates really are the best. That's a no BS statement right there. And we will fight anyone that says otherwise, unless they are bigger than us, in which case they must be on steroids. So that's why we would choose to withdraw from that fight.
All true.
Check out them at thestrength.co. Also check out, recently they came out with bumpers now. They got Made in America bumpers and their collars. I've been using their collars in our gym, and I'm really liking those. So check out their barbell collars also. Thestrength.co. Thank you, The Strength Co. We talked about... Oh, I want to talk about this before I forget. Have you heard the new Blink-182 album? Relatively new Blink-182
I have
album?
not actually yet. I have seen that it was out. I have not listened to it yet, though.
Okay, you are aware that the album's out, though. I've heard a little bit of it. There's a song on the radio that they're playing, and it's, I don't know if it's like, it's like Back When or Remember When, or I don't know what the name of it is, but I've heard some other songs, and I'm like, it's not the song I would have picked out of, there's some better songs on that album. I'm surprised that's like the first single that's out, almost kind of, but I thought it was not too bad so far. Would just be that's my full assessment of it, though, is not too bad. Blink-182.
I better give it a listen here. Maybe I'll just listen to it live right now. People can get me reacting.
You might have you'll probably have a lot more nuanced and interesting take on it than I will, because I don't have great takes on music ever, on any kind of music.
There's a song called Edging. Do you think Huck Finn would like that one?
Yes. It's either that, or it's about like when I have to go straighten up my sidewalk edges, so I don't look behind the neighbors.
It's one of those two.
Yeah. It's got to be one of those two. So are you intrigued at all by the thought of a new Blink-182 album?
I mean, I will definitely listen to it. I just have to do it. But yeah, I don't have any problem. Some of these people are like, oh no, they should quit making music. It's like, oh,
right.
Can they really not make songs anymore? So I will listen to it. Yes.
Okay, that's my in-depth Blink-182.
Your music review.
Yeah, that's my music review. My music review is There is an album that exists, and I have heard some of it.
And they even played one on the radio.
You may or may not like it. It is no butt rock. Well, or is it butt rock?
Do you know where the name for that comes from? Did we talk about that?
What is it? Because it's shitty music, or
no? That's what I thought at first. And
Okay.
what I read on it says it comes from the stations that would say we play nothing but rock. All of those stations, which is even a funnier name, I think.
Yeah. That is nothing but rock.
Because every station in the late 90s, early 2000s, just something, power, whatever, nothing but rock.
94.1, nothing but rock. That's our station is 94.1. If you're ever in western northeast South Dakota and want to listen to a little butt rock. Yeah.
And there it is.
Nothing but rock.
Oh, I did see, I had a few people send this to me. Creed is going on tour, Tanner. Are you aware of this?
Actually, yes. So they're riding. So are they doing this because of they're riding the wave? I feel like they're like,
I think so.
Carpe diem, right?
They have this wave of nostalgia, and people are ready for it, and they want it, so they're gonna give it to them. But they do have multiple stops in Minnesota and Iowa and Wisconsin.
Oh,
and I looked because I thought, okay, if something was right down the road, I would maybe think about it. The closest thing was about 3-4 hours away. That's not worth it for me. So
yeah, yeah, I probably wouldn't drive that far for Creed, I guess. But
I don't think so.
Scott, but the band is together essentially.
I believe so.
I guess it wouldn't matter to me as long as what is it, Scott Stapp?
The quote I saw said he feels vocally as prepared as he ever has, so he's ready to go.
He's ready to take people higher for sure, isn't he?
He is.
So the Arnold is coming up, and there has been big Arnold news. I've got 3 pieces of lifting stuff here.
All right.
So maybe let's start with this. We'll crescendo at the Arnold, but the American Pro meet did go on this last weekend. I did not catch a lot of that with our goings-ons and being busy and stuff. I essentially caught none of it. I don't really know who won or anything like that. The noteworthy thing I noticed, Brianni Terry deadlifted 641 pounds, which is the most ever by any woman in powerlifting. So she set the heaviest deadlift ever, and I think she did it in the 165-pound weight class.
Super impressive, and also just crazy how the women's all-time deadlift record seems to fall every 3 to 6 months now.
I might be wrong about this. Someone could fact check me, but I think there was another woman that maybe deadlifted the same thing, or maybe there was a chipping situation, but there was another woman there that was also deadlifting 641, kind of that same weight. Maybe they tied. I don't know, but yeah, you're absolutely right. That deadlift record is not safe. And also, it's really getting pushed too. It's going to be over 650 now soon.
It will be. I don't think it's crazy to say within a couple of years we'll be at 7, It's right there.
I would assume it will be. I would guess you're right. Anything else? I noticed Dan Grigsby, maybe went for some really huge deadlifts, didn't quite get those. What else did I see? Luke Knoll had a good meet. We've talked about Luke Knoll before.
Was he 24
I don't really know.
something, 2,400
I don't know
something?
how John Hack did. Did John Hack win or not?
I think he did win overall from what I saw. Just he didn't have what was his total? 20 high 22s or low 23s.
Breaking a new world record.
Yeah, he didn't break his record, but he still won. I'm trying to think if I saw Big Daniel, of course. I don't know.
Big Daniel, yeah, and Big Jordan. Those two are.
Yes.
Cheering for those two.
I don't know if there's anything else noteworthy that I ran across in my brief look at everything.
Okay.
The production looked awesome.
Yeah, the screens and stuff behind it all looked really cool, right?
Yep.
Okay. So if nothing else on the American Pro, the other big event that went on same weekend was the Rogue, whatever the hell that's called, the Rogue Invitational. The Rogue Invitational down in Texas, in the baseball stadium in Texas. That went on, and the Strongman portion of that is what I would be interested in following. And I did, as I was sitting around, was able to watch a little bit of YouTube video of the Strongman competition. And of note, Mitch Hooper won. Not a huge surprise there. There's no doubt he'd be in the top 3 in consideration who's going to win that.
Yep.
I think Tom Stoltman got second. It's really feeling like a lot of competitions right now are a Tom Stoltman, Mitch Hooper competition, although there's a whole bunch of competition there at the top. But those, when the wheat and chaff get separated, it seems like those two really are maybe just a little bit a notch ahead, in my moderately educated opinion, I think. And then a whole bunch of other good competition going on there. Big Trey did tear his Achilles. I saw that, and that looked horrible. So hoping for the best for Big Trey, of course. Big Bobby did well. I did watch the events. I didn't love some of the events that they did there.
What did they do? I didn't see any of it.
So, God, I kind of can't remember. Oh, they do that deadlift where they're on that really high platform up in the air, and it's like a deadlift attached by, I don't know, chains or cables or something to this thing way below, and it's this enormous monstrosity. And I just don't know if it translates into what you would hope it would when you build this thing. And I don't know, maybe other people have a different opinion on there, but it's not my favorite deadlift setup at all, because you're just kind of like there's this big thing underneath you, but at the end of the day, it looks like you're just standing on a big wooden platform, just like lifting a bar attached to nothing. Yeah. That's kind of what it looks like.
Because everything starts to get so big that it makes the range of motion almost look small.
Right.
Like you're not really moving that much stuff.
Right. I agree with that. So it's I don't love that one. Still a deadlift, so a deadlift's a deadlift, I guess. But then they did this thing where Trey tore his Achilles. It's like this. It's a pull, like a bus pull, a plane pull, a truck pull, but it's this thing on rails, and it looks like it builds no momentum, and it somewhat looked slightly inconsistent from person to person how this thing was even pulling. I don't know if that's fair to say because people are going to be different, but I also thought that was not a good looking event. People were moving like 10 feet and then all getting stuck. And it just didn't, I don't know. I guess it just did not look very good that's just my take on that one also. Then what the hell else did they do? The last event I would comment on also, they did this sandbag load, 3 sandbags onto this teetering thing that had like 70 rogue plates on the back of it, and when you filled it up, it was supposed to like tip forward. But everyone, all 10, they ran 2 heats of 5, and it took people like 10 seconds to do, or I'm exaggerating, but it was really fast, and everyone was within like a couple seconds of each other. Okay. And like this teetering thing, I'm like, it added nothing to it.
Yeah, so the event was
and
too
I just
quick,
thought that event,
the show of it didn't work the way it was supposed to.
No, and I just thought the show of it, on that event in particular, the show of it was not great, and it did not separate the competition because everyone finished like at essentially the same time. You couldn't watch, normally you watch a big medley and you're like, oh yeah, Hooper's out in front, and like, he stumbled on that one, and now
it's not the 100-meter dash.
Catching up.
You don't want winners separated by tenths of seconds. It should be very obvious that these guys were a few seconds apart. The really good guy was like 5 seconds ahead of everyone else, and then there was some people that just couldn't barely finish.
Log for reps. I guess Big David's helping us out there. Log for reps. That was fine. I don't know. They said it was kind of light. For these guys, a lot of people were doing 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 reps. I don't have a problem with that. It's just not everything has to be a 1 rep max, and I don't think hitting 10 reps as a max, that's probably actually a sweet spot. I think there was just a lot of good log pressers, so they're kind of jammed in there. I don't have a problem with that event. Did I talk about all the events, or was there? Oh, then they did that Roga coaster thing where it's a rope pull, but they're pulling that thing up, that roller coaster up the
tracks.
By pulleys,
basically.
They're pulling it up the tracks, and then it dumps the sandbags out at the end. And that one's okay. I know they're not the same event, but the truck pull and then that.
It seems way too similar, doesn't it?
I don't like, you're holding the rope on both of them, and I know the cart pull isn't necessarily a grip exercise. It's more of like, it's like a bus pull, a plane pull, that sort of thing. And this one's a little bit different because it's a arm over arm pull. But I just don't love having both of those.
Visually, they seem too similar from a spectator standpoint of watching.
I think so.
Guys pulling a rope in some way.
Yeah. So my take, and there again could be wrong, I just didn't love they definitely put work into this, and there's a lot of work into these implements and stuff, but I feel like they're slightly missing the mark a little bit, kind of. I don't know. Like, for as much work as they're putting into it, I would like it to be better, quite honestly.
Yeah, you would. I guess the one that always surprises me is on events like this is when it feels like the weights or the times weren't set correctly.
Right.
You know, and it feels like at that level at Rogue, they would have plenty of guys to test this that are right there that could.
That's Brian was there, and I think he was testing the pull, like this cart pull. And the comment I heard, like, yeah, great. Yeah, have Brian Shaw be the tester of, like, you know, one of the you know, the biggest man on earth that's one of the historically the best pullers ever.
For everything. Yeah, he'll
right,
be
and
our
like particularly
W.
good at that event. Like, yeah, let's throw him out there as a tester. I mean, I think that was just kind of funny to me, but just a funny thought. Like, yeah, okay, great. Oh, Brian, it was fine for him. It should be good. And like, well,
yeah. Brian can do it. I mean, come on, everyone can. We're talking about Brian here, right?
If that old piece of shit can do it, we should all be fine. He's been retired for at least a month. I think you're right, though, that there's I don't know. I just think it should be a little bit better. That's my harsh critique from afar having no real advice of how it's actually better. This is like any good criticism.
Well, you're not getting paid. You're not getting paid to come up with ideas.
No, I get to be the criticizer of this. I'm not the solutions man. I'm the what's the problem here? I can identify the problems, not the answers. That's where I feel like I fit in. But Mitch Hooper did win. Tom Stoltman got second. Like I said, it's seems to be other people can sneak in there for sure. There's definitely people on that level, but I think that those two separate themselves a little bit.
Yes. So now that you got the strongman stuff out of the way, are you ready to provide your deep dive on the CrossFit portion of it?
I did not. If I had to be honest, I would say I didn't see a single thing about the CrossFit. I am curious because they've done maybe a good job of making the CrossFit people do strongman-ish, more and more strongman-ish movements. So I'm curious what they had them do this year. Because I think they had them do like a max log last year, and that was like Danny Spiegel. A lot of people, you know, she was doing a heavy max log. So I wonder what strongman they incorporated there. That would be my only comment, but I don't even know what they did.
Yeah,
they said there was a max deadlift. So Big David, does anyone know what the heaviest men's max deadlifts were from the CrossFit event? Does anybody know what that was? 605, the heaviest.
Respectable number.
Certainly a strong deadlift. Women's 425. It is funny to think, though, it's very, very different sports, obviously, and they don't care. The best do not, you know, whoever did 605 probably wasn't even I'm just making this up, but probably wasn't top 5 finisher overall, because the strongest people usually then aren't able to perform well on the other ones.
Typically take a hit on the other stuff.
But like on an event like the deadlift, I feel like I'm sometimes underwhelmed by the numbers that the men do. Do you think that, or am I crazy there?
I mean, it's not to knock a 605-pound deadlift at all, but it does seem you got to recalibrate your expectations, right? Because you do think that when you think of CrossFitters, you think of people that are spending all day, every single day in the gym. And just by our experience, it's like, well, if you're spending all day, every day in the gym, I know tons of guys that have gotten to a 600-pound deadlift, not doing there, just being there a few times a week. Right. So it seems like they should be more, but also these people have way different body sizes and their training has a different focus. So I don't know, grading on a scale, that seems about right for me. I would have been more surprised if it was in the high 6s. I would have thought, damn, they're really creeping that up there.
True.
Yeah, if I had, 5 seems too low, I guess my guess probably would have been high 5s, low 6. So that tracks about right for me, I think.
Yeah, and it totally makes sense, but I just lived in this really skewed bubble of seeing all these really heavy lifts all the time. But there would definitely be diminishing returns. That's why whoever probably was at the top of the men's deadlift probably wasn't a top overall finisher, because they maybe are
too heavy on the strength side of things.
Right. Or they have that developed but haven't rounded the rest of their CrossFit game. So there we go. We actually hit. That is quite a bit of CrossFit talk that we did.
That's more than we've had in a very long time.
That would be like a PR in the last 5 years almost, I feel like.
You're probably not far off.
So yeah, we're going back to our roots. This is now being rebranded as a CrossFit podcast once again. So the Arnold, though, the big news from the Arnold that we were kind of the leading news breakers on this is that
Taylor
animal
Swift
cage.
will be there.
Taylor Swift will be there to watch
at the Massenomics booth.
She's, I don't know if you remember
that
this.
crow's nest thing up there.
Yeah, that crow's nest, which you wouldn't pay attention to if you weren't there for 7 years and start to just take
She's going to be
everything.
up there eating nachos, and there'll be all these cameras pointed at her.
It's the people in the crow's nest that Huck Finn thinks they're always like watching him to see if they're sneaking in beers, which, to be honest, I don't think they've ever cared or even paid any attention
I think
to
the
that.
people up there have bigger concerns on their mind than.
Yeah. But do you recall him? He points that out.
Oh, yeah, he
says
it every year. Yeah,
like, they're up there.
You see me drinking
got
beer,
binoculars.
I'm thinking they're going to come after me.
But yeah, Taylor Swift is going to be up there just watching the Massenomics booth the whole time. And every time someone comes and does a big order, she's going to be up there like
going crazy.
Like our moms will be up there and she'll be like hugging our moms because someone did $100 order at the Massenomics booth. Taylor Swift is just a really big fan of things now. She just gets really excited about stuff.
She just loves things in general.
She just
People
loves
doing
watching
stuff.
them from an elevated distance.
Put me up in a glass cube and I'll watch anything.
And I will get so excited about it. Like, I will cheer people on so hard. Yeah. But no, we at least have a rough booth location. I don't know, everything's subject to change this far out, especially with the Arnold and the way things go there. We do kind of have a rough Massenomics booth location. Should be in the similar-ish area as last year. Travis from Obsidian should be right next to us again this year, so I'm excited about that. I haven't seen Huck Finn, speaking to him, where he's got his spot yet, but we'll see if he's not close to us. It looks like Buff Chick Supplements should be in our neighborhood again, and we'll Live Large is right in our neighborhood again. We should see how that plays out. And then, actually pretty excited about this, the Animal Cage is coming back to the Arnold this year for the first time since 2019, which seems kind of crazy at this point that it's been that long, because it still feels like a very central part of the Arnold to me does, the Animal Cage.
And I think it's a win for everyone when they're there. They get people hyped to be there. They bring in a big crowd, and that only benefits all of us.
It does benefit all of us, and we're not very far from the Animal Cage. Too, if you were there before, the Animal Cage is going to kind of be where that XPC powerlifting meet was last year. They moved that to a different place. So that Animal Cage, similar to where it's been in the past, I think. And I'm curious to see who's lifting in there this year, what they get people to do, because it's kind of a different class. It's a different cycle of lifters.
It is.
To use a steroids reference, a different cycle of lifters that we've gotten ourselves into since 2016. It's definitely.
Would you say they need to gear it differently? To
they need to gear up differently for this new cycle of lifters. To really put them to the test. Trend.
HGH. Yeah. Just throw one in there.
Yes. But it is a different group of lifters, a lot of it. There's not that much crossover from, say, like 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago of the top guys. There's some crossover, of course, but so I'm excited to see what goes on there.
I am too.
I don't know.
It's going to be a ton of fun, and it will for sure bring some names in that wouldn't normally be at the Arnold without it.
Can you think of anything that you'd really like to see go on in the Animal Cage? Any lifter that you'd really? I've got one idea in my mind that I'm like, okay, this is. If they got this, people want. I've got two actually.
Well, the first one that comes to mind would be some type of. I'm trying to think of what the best idea for the event would be, but something deadlift related with Jamal Browner and Dan Grigsby.
That's the number one on my mind. Is you get Jamal Browner and Dan Grigsby in there, something deadlift, something 1,000 pounds, and that's the event. Whether it's I don't know what it is, but it's those two and at least maybe it's 900 pounds for reps, or maybe it's 1,000, or maybe they max, or if one of them can do 1,100 pounds even with straps, and then
that'd be the
that's
event.
the number one.
Yes,
it's those two, and those two wouldn't have been there in 2018.
Nope, they weren't. Yeah. They definitely weren't a thing like they are now. So
that would be the premier event. That's the one you put on like Saturday afternoon of the Arnold.
For sure. Anything with John Hack is going to go over really well if they did that, which would be really cool. And I have a feeling
That'd
will.
be in my top 3 is just anything with John Hack.
That'd go good.
And then the other one to me is getting Julius Maddox to bench in there.
Getting him to bench. And now I would even say something with Brianni deadlifting too would be a big
That's true
big draw.
too.
Would be a big
You
pull,
get her
could
and
say.
a couple of these. It's really, so you get the 5 best women. You get, what's her name? We've had her on
Tamara.
here that she competed in the strongman though, so maybe she would be out of that. But
Right.
whatever, you get 5 of the top female deadlifters in there and get them to do something, and that's going to be a big draw. Also, I said 5. You get 3 of them, or you get Brianni and one of the, something like that. I think that would be the big draw there too. Those are the biggest ones that come. I really think that Grigsby Browner deadlift though, that would be like everyone's going to want to know what happens with that.
That would have people going crazy, and rightfully so. That would be a really fun one to watch.
Yes. Someone said Forsaken Warrior and Pete Rubish. That would be a 2017.
Yes, that would be 2017 in its prime. Now that Pete is about 200 pounds, and
I don't even know if he's 200 anymore.
Yeah, he might be less than that. Yeah, that was one that doesn't.
We're gonna get Pete on soon too, as a little teaser here. We're gonna have Pete on. It's been a few years since we've had him. I think maybe a couple of years, and he was starting to transform then. He's even significantly transformed since that, I think.
Yes.
So he's still deadlifting though too. He's still he's not
deadlifting
not
and
lifting.
running like crazy.
Yeah. As far as the Arnold goes, we have not geared up for that very much yet. But
we get Black Friday
after
is
the
number one priority on the radar right now. And then after that, you say, okay, it's December. Let's get through the end of the year. And then you really start looking at the Arnold once January rolls around.
I would say this is a little bit of a teaser here, but we do have some big things coming for Black Friday this year.
Oh, yes, we do.
I think we're going to change the game a little bit. We really got some new stuff here coming for Black Friday. I'm about maybe as most excited for this. We always try to do it big for Black Friday. And I think we've been successful in the last several years of what we've done there. And I think this might be our best one. We decided we couldn't hold anything back, and here we are getting what we're getting here.
I'm excited because this might be the most prepared we've ever been for a Black Friday.
That's things. More stuff showed up yesterday.
Awesome. Yeah,
there's not much left to show up. So we've got almost all of it.
It's not unusual for us because for companies like us and the companies that make our stuff, this is the busiest time of the year. So it's not unusual for things to show up the week of Black Friday, and you're just thinking, God, I hope this is all the way it's supposed to be because we got a lot riding on this.
I'm not joking. We put in a lot. It feels like we put in a lot of time.
Oh my God!
To get this Black Friday. I mean, it's not the hay's not in the barn yet, but I feel like we've really spent a lot of time.
There was a stretch there where it felt like I was just a full-time Massenomics employee getting Black Friday
getting ready for Black Friday drop. Yeah.
It just felt like it was never ending. It felt like it just kept going and going and going, and then it is one of those things where now once we have it, then we can.
Right, the pieces are coming together. There's still a little more to be done, but like
on my leg of the relay. The majority of my work is done. I'm about ready to hand off the baton pretty soon here.
Right. We'll have to do photos,
yes.
And then that's really like the
that's the final piece. And then I go, good luck, Tanner.
And then
see you later.
Talk to you in a few days. Yeah. Yeah. That's true though. But we really have put in work on this, and I think it'll be really well received. We have a great variety coming, including like a lot of new, just completely different stuff that we haven't done before, which is exciting. We're got a couple of people always like seeing the stuff come back that's maybe been gone for a while, and there'll be a little bit of that because that's exciting
something
too.
Something old, something new.
Yeah, yes. Something borrowed, something blue, whatever that saying is. So we will be excited for that. And Crew Falls, December to Remember, is just getting closer and closer all the time, isn't it?
It's shaping right up. We're almost down to the 1 month out countdown.
We've had a few more people sign up for that.
Have we? Do we have an official count that you know of?
I would have to look at that again. I think I've got that saved somewhere in a spreadsheet, and that's creeped up a little bit farther. I think Darren's going to come. Darren's been back at the gym, and he wants to get in on a Crew Falls December to Remember, and I think we'll get a few of the other Aberdeen, Massenomics gym people to come for
Big Ryan's
Crew
coming.
Falls. Is he? Yeah, he's coming pretty much for sure then.
Or I guess maybe he just wanted to stay at my house that weekend. I don't know. It's one of the two.
Okay, so that'll be fun too, because I don't know if everyone knows, but Ryan is familiar with partying. You know, he does know how to party.
He does know how.
He does know how to have fun. See, it's funny. You get a few people like, say like him, Big Bryce, some guys like that together, and then you all of a sudden can't help but have fun by association.
It's one of those things.
You're just like, I'm just in on it.
You get the right people, and it just feeds off of itself. It grows exponentially. You could say the urge to party.
It does. So that, and also the lifting part of it. You know, Ryan's not a stranger to lift. So every part of that it just makes it better and better every additional person that gets in on it. So the Liberty barbell part of it is going to be. I'm really looking for. I'm honestly equally looking forward to the lifting as I am the hangout, because both are just going to be really fun.
I mean,
it's all the hangout, but
I couldn't pick one that I'm more excited for, because they both will be equally fun. This is, I think, one of those times where just each person might actually make an exponential effect. Each single person
is one of those rare where exponential means something.
Yes.
Big Keith asked about Friday night plans. I guess we still don't know that for sure.
Oh,
I know some people will be coming in Friday.
Yeah, we'll figure out something though, for sure.
We
got to do something if people are coming in.
It'll
Friday,
probably be smaller, because like some of the local people just won't. Local-ish, like the
people
Watertown,
45 minutes out probably won't be there that night.
Right.
I mean, some of them might be, but we'll figure out. There'll be enough people around that we'll figure out something.
Yeah, it'll be worth it. It'll be fun.
Mm-hmm.
What did you have? Oh, I guess maybe should mention a little bit on this as long as we're updating the 2024 Lift Hard Live Easy Classic. A lot of wheels have been in motion.
Yes, we actually haven't even talked about this yet, really.
Not that much. There is.
I mean, you and me, even, we almost haven't mentioned this to each other at all.
No, actually, here's what I'll tell. I'll just give everyone a pretty frank update on this, because people will be interested. Big Jake the Snake Heinrich is running the Strongman event.
Is this a Frank update or a Tanner update? I just want to.
I actually just got Frank on the horn here. Frank's okay. This is going to be a Frank Tanner update.
Okay. Here we go.
That just means an Ernest.
Oh, gotcha.
That's it.
Okay.
So like Ernest goes to camp.
Right. Ernest Scared Stupid. Yeah.
Yes. That movie scared me when I was little.
It scared me too. Yes.
Those like things. I haven't seen that. I can't recall exactly what it is. But like those things that grow out of trees or whatever that was.
I don't even know what it is.
That movie was scary to me when I was a really little kid.
Other one that was really scary for me. Did you ever watch The Ghost and Mr. Chicken with Don Knotts?
I know who Don Knotts is, but no, I have not seen that. That's intriguing to me.
There's like this haunted house, and I remember at the very end of the movie, I think it's at the very end of the movie, there's a photo of like an oil painting on the wall, and someone, this might not even be real. I might just be imagining this, but this is how I remembered it. Someone has a needle nose pliers stuck into the portrait, and there's blood coming out of it. Just the scariest thing I'd ever seen in my life at that point. I was out. I couldn't do it anymore. It was just seeing blood coming out of a painting.
Like,
might as well just ruin me forever.
Yep. Yeah.
And I would be very surprised if that is not scary one bit anymore. Like it's probably
I assume
probably
that
incredibly
movie
comical.
Is terrible. Yeah. Right. Okay. And Big Keith mentioned Big Jake is actually their guest on Unpaid and Underrated next week, so they'll probably talk more about it. And also, I forgot to shout out Big Grayson was this week's guest on Unpaid and Underrated. So Big Grayson of Crew Falls, who will be at the Crew Falls meetup. Check out that episode with him. Good stuff. But Big Jake is going to run the Strongman event. There will be a Strongman event, 100% for sure. You probably, if you're listening to this and you're just finding out, to be honest, you probably can't get in the Strongman event, because we just about got that wrapped up. The Strongman event is very limited in terms of competitors this year. So unfortunately, some people will want to be on that and not be able to, because that has a hard cap at 20 lifters. And the plan of attack is the powerlifting meet. We're going to get that going slightly earlier than last year. We're going to do some things that Dave's working on, some things to expedite, like the rules meeting and a couple things. We're going to the 2 platforms. So we're going to have 3 flights instead of 4, shave a little bit of time there. And essentially that powerlifting meet will get wrapped up a little bit earlier. So we'll get the Strongman event started by, I'll just say, as of right now, I'll say 2:30 as a rough estimate is when we might start that Strongman event. The awards ceremony for powerlifting will not immediately follow powerlifting. Strongman will start as fast as we can get it going. So the strongman competitors will probably be warming up for their first event while the last flight of deadlifts are going, so that we can quickly change that out and get strongman started as soon as possible. And the strongman event should not take longer than 2 to 2.5 hours. So we should get done with the full day's events by 4:30 or 5, and then we'll go right into awards following that. So the power lifters will get a show as they're cooling down, having a couple brewskis. They will essentially have this strongman show to check out, which I think will be cool. We'll have 90 power lifters that wrap up, and then they have this strongman event to get behind.
It's 90
so
more
the strongman,
spectators.
yeah, the strongman competitors, it's going to be great for, because they're at the bare minimum, they're going to have 90 power lifters there cheering them on, which should be a lot of fun. Should be a ton of fun, actually. A little bit more on the strongman. It's only going to be 4 events. We're limiting that. We want the strongman to be a little bit of a show. It's not going to be a typical strongman people do where they're there for 9 hours the day. This is going to be fast and furious as far as terms of number of competitors, the way the events are set up, the number of events. Yeah. The events, which we kind of know now, are going to be the log clean and press, a max, a rising bar. Everyone gets 3 attempts. If you miss an attempt, you're out. So that will be, I don't know the exact, Jake can talk more about order events, but that's one of the events for sure. Another event is going to be an elevated deadlift. So we'll say like an 18-inch height deadlift. The setup of that, a little bit more to come out of that as we get that flushed out, but it will be an elevated height deadlift 4 reps. We're looking at 4 different divisions. We're going to have a female division, a novice men division. Actually, let me use the technical names for these divisions.
The correct nomenclature.
We're going to have a big women division, which is all women because they're all big. It's Massenomics. We're going to have a big men division, which is men under 250 pounds. We're going to have a bigger men's division, which is men above 250 pounds. And then we're going to have a big but new division, which is the men's novice division. Those 4.
And I think that's all pretty self-explanatory.
Obviously. I talked about the deadlift in there. The third event that I have to list is the shield carry, which there's more details to come in that shield. So weights will come out as we are able to do some testing on that and fine-tune some things. But it'd be a shield carry for max distance. And then the final event will be Atlas Stones. At least as of now, that will be an Atlas Stone over bar. And it'll probably be on the stone of steel. So no tacky. It'll be a tacky towel, spray tacky sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And it will be a battle situation where you're going back and forth with another person over the bar. And Jake can share more details on that. But that gives everyone a flavor for what they're going to see in this the Strongman Showdown version of the Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic.
Yep, shaping up to be a premier event.
Yeah, and have we talked about Gino is confirmed that Gino will be there?
Have we actually mentioned that on here yet? I don't know.
I don't know if we have or not, but Gino is going to be there for the 2024 Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic.
He had a video with Big Daniel confirming it as well.
Yes. So I'm pretty excited about. I'm excited about all of it. I've had some anxiety over the strongman thing because there's a lot of moving parts of all of this to make sure it works in a certain way, but we're really getting there. I think we're really getting there where it's going to be shaping up pretty well. I'm excited for the Shield event. Mm-hmm. I maybe didn't hint at that enough, but there will be the Shield event. I think will be a fun one.
Cool stuff.
Yeah, I think people will enjoy what we have coming for the Shield event. Anything else we need to hit on as far as that Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic? We'll be talking about that more. We got a long ways to get there.
What are we at right now? Like 9 months.
Yeah. So we have a lot of time. The powerlifting registration for that. Here's very important. We've mentioned it before, but Massenomics supporting members will get first crack at that, along with Massenomics gym members. So if you're a Massenomics gym member, yes, and you're listening to this, yes, don't worry, you get first crack too. But that's a much smaller group, obviously, of people wanting to powerlift. But so supporting members know you do get first crack at signing up on that. And there is going to be 90 lifters. So if you're listening to this, you've been a listener for a while, you really want to get in on the Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic 2024 because of course, why the hell wouldn't you want to get on this? You're going to miss out deeply if you don't. The best chance of being able to get on it is becoming a supporting member.
Mm-hmm.
I would say now, because this registration for powerlifting will come shortly after wrapping up the strongman piece here. So that will not be far off that we get into the powerlifting registration there. So become a supporting member.
Yeah, get signed up.
Yeah. My goal, there gets to be so many supporting members that want in that nobody else gets to be in the powerlifting meet.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
It's just gym members and supporting
never even
members.
opened up to the public.
Yeah, it's like this literally we got 90 powerlifters and 20 strongmen that are all either gym members or supporting members.
Mm-hmm. That'd be awesome.
Now that is a party. This is a funny thing to think about it too. In 2023, we had 60 competitors. We're gonna have 110 competitors.
Damn, I actually
in
didn't think about it
2024.
that way. That is a lot.
That's just competitors.
Yes.
So if you think about it from that's going to be 50 more, and we say each person on average has like 1 or 2 other people there. So that's an additional 150 people in that building just because of the growth of the competitors.
Tanner, this is the movie trailer. We're like talking about it. We're saying the second one, and then you go, "We're gonna need a bigger house."
Oh crap. That's actually a good point too. I mean, luckily my backyard is big, so I think as far as the Friday evening party, it just
keep pushing
extends
out.
farther into my backyard.
Yeah.
We're going to need more pizzas.
Yes, we're going to need more pizzas to start working on that part right now.
Yeah. Also, there's probably just some people that were here last year that maybe didn't catch the party, that they're like, oh, that looked like a lot of fun too. I don't want to miss the Friday night party. So it's just even.
Yeah, I didn't think about it. That is some major growth on that side of things.
Right.
And then the zoo, man, we're going to really take over the zoo at this point.
I mean, I know that's funny, but that is we already kind of did take over the zoo for multiple hours there at the beginning of the night. Imagine it with another basically 50 to 100 people
basically
that are
doubling in size.
Right. It will be filled. Yep. And you run into that issue of not being able to talk to everyone.
That actually is a real issue now.
It will be like, I literally didn't get to talk to that person at all because there is not enough time. Just competitors alone, there's not enough time to have 110 personal conversations with people.
Not an option.
So we're gonna test some limits on things for sure.
Yes. Pa has entered the waiting room just right now, Tanner. Should we get him in here?
Let's get that old son of a bitch on here.
Okay, I'm gonna start kicking people.
Can you hear me?
Can you?
There he
is.
Can
you hear us?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Excellent. Big Pa all the way from across the pond.
What is the crack? I'm a bit fucking twisted.
There you go. No, that looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going?
What's the crack with G?
We're just chilling and killing over here.
I should probably slow down when I talk because I know Americans can't understand any other accent than an American one.
We're challenged that.
We're under the impression that we invented English and everyone else is just ruining it. Is that correct?
No, you invented other stuff. Didn't you invent prostitutes and stuff?
I don't know if we've invented it, but we sure took it to another level.
High five.
All right, Pa, if you're ready, we're just going to jump right into it. We got a lot of good stuff to talk to you about.
Good, yeah, let's go.
All right. We're excited to welcome Big Bill Kazmaier here onto the Massenomics podcast. Bill, how's it going?
Hey guys, how are you all doing? I love your t-shirt. It's a great color. It matches my eyes.
Oh, thanks, Bill. For our audio only listeners, that was a trick. It's not actually Bill Kazmaier. We got Pa Dwyer on. He's welcome to join us all the way from Ireland. So our technology is pretty advanced that we can get someone on from that far away. But you do have a mean Bill Kazmaier impression.
Yeah, I have. That's kind of something I taught myself in lockdown when we were messing in the shed and we're playing games. We're like, next up we got Pa Dwyer to do his deadlift. So training in lockdown was fun times.
How'd you lean on Kaz? What were you like? Yeah, I can do a Kaz. That's just being around him and hearing him talking up. You're like, yeah, I can do that.
Kaz is kind of an easy accent to do though. It's such a I think any American could pull off Kaz because all you need to do is deepen your voice and you automatically sound like him.
See, I wanted to debate you on that one, but then as soon as you did it, I'm like, well, you kind of are right there. That is all there is to it.
Well, and then like it's too, because it's not just the sound of his voice, but it's just the shit he says. Like all you have to do is just make ordinary stuff sound like really serious and intense. Be like, buttering his toast. I've never seen anyone quite butter his toast like this before, Mark. And it's just like everything he talks about is like really, really intense. Like he had a post the other day where he's talking about the time when whatever that famous bench press video where he's in a powerlifting meet and he benches like 635 and his eyes are literally popping out of his head. And he had like this paragraph written about that where he just goes on and on about like how he was feeling. And I'm like, oh man, this guy like doesn't take anything at surface level. He really digs into everything pretty deep here. So you got a good Kaz. Is there any other, do you do other impressions too?
Something about Kaz actually. He was telling us one time that the reason why he was so strong is, and this is serious.
We've had some good Kaz experiences before, so we believe everything you say that he says.
I believe him.
Yeah.
But he said the reason he was so strong is that he was abducted by aliens and they put a probe in his neck because he said all during the years he was really strong, that he had this lump in his neck. And then he retired from lifting and strong and all that. And he said when he retired, the lump in his neck disappeared. So he said that's when the aliens took him back up and took the lump out.
But do you believe that that's what he thinks though? Like, do you think he's messing with you, or do you think that's what he thinks?
No, I genuinely believe that's what he thinks. So, and I think then they brought me up and put up my arse.
So that's why you're doing pretty good too. But maybe you just need to it's working pretty well, but just to go to Kaz level, you need to jam it into your neck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I took the anal route.
Yeah. What goes? Do you do other American impersonations though? It's a funny thought to me. Are Americans pretty easy to impersonate? Do you think? Like, is that a pretty?
Yeah, you're fairly easy to impersonate. Yeah. Probably someone else. I can do it sometimes, but sometimes I can't. So I probably won't be able to do it now. But like someone I take the piss out of is Brian Shaw.
Yeah.
Like if you watch any of his videos, he's like this. Hey guys, Brian Shaw here. It's like he starts the video like 5 seconds too quick and he's waiting. Hey guys, Brian Shaw here. You want to come in here and click on the link and watch the Shaw Classic? And he likes that.
Yes, he does. He does do that. You're right.
Hey guys.
It's like he's really enunciating. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. He likes to use his lips a lot.
That's good. I do like that. So Big Pa, for anyone that's listening that doesn't know, Big Pa is a top level strongman competitor. I don't know. How many years have you been doing strongman? Obviously, this ain't your first rodeo.
No, unfortunately not. I've been doing strongman, I think, maybe 10 years.
And you've been at World's Strongest Man multiple times?
Yeah, I've been at World's Strongest Man 3 times.
Okay.
Won Ireland's Strongest Man 5 times. Won UK Strongest Man. I was actually second in Britain's Strongest Man last year, which is funny because I'm not from Britain. But yeah, that's kind of it. And I kind of enjoy it. Like, I've only really gotten kind of professional probably the last 2 years, where I'm kind of at Giants Live a lot and at World's Strongest Man, or 3 years, should I say. And that's when I kind of just took off, and I suppose it's when I started being myself.
Yes.
That's when I really started taking off.
Well,
Stop hiding my inner cunt.
Yeah. Well, so you do have a reputation, obviously, as you're a strong man, but you've built up this reputation of you're a fun dude. You're a funny guy. And so were you ever not as open like that? Were you not having as much fun at first, and this is something you built into?
No, because at first I was kind of taking strongman a bit serious, which is stupid. Like, who gives a fuck? Then I was like, why should, like, I started having fun with it then, and the more I got into strongman and the more I got to know the strongmen, like, I found that they're actually good crack. Do you know, the likes of fucking the Stoutmans, or even you'd expect the Americans to be American.
Yeah.
But they're actually fucking good crack as well. Like Brian Shaw is great crack. Evan Singleton is fucking brilliant crack. Even Bobby, I can get a laugh out of Bobby Thompson sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
I've always had fun with him, yeah. So I said, fuck it, I might as well just be myself.
How about
The other
this?
thing as well, I was kind of afraid of it because I'm a bit intense and I tend to say what I'm what's on my mind, which can often get me in trouble, but now I'm like, I don't actually care anymore.
Does anyone have you ever do you think you ever offended any other strongmen before that they've been like, oh, shut the fuck up, Pa, like this is like, you're not funny to us, like we are taking this serious, quit joking around? Like, has that ever come up?
Never in strongman. Like I say, like even at the pro level in strongman, you'll never meet a dickhead. Like at World's Strongest Man, there's including reserves. There's like 32 strongmen there every year, so there's 30 competing, and I've yet to come across a dickhead at World's Strongest Man. And it's funny because I was saying this actually to that comedian Joe Tom Segura.
Yeah.
He was asking me what the other guys like, and I was like, do you know what? I've never met a dickhead at the pro level strongman ever. And he was like, it's the exact same in comedy. Like, if you go to the top level in comedy, you'll never meet a fucking dickhead there. You'll always meet the dickheads at the intermediate level. The guys who are kind of they're not amateur, but they're not professional either. And it's the exact same as strongman. That's where all the dickheads are.
That's kind of I can picture it in both too.
Mm-hmm.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. Yeah. That does seem to be true. Yeah, it's like that's the people that like can't take a joke about it. Like in strongman, you see that even in Instagram comments online. Those are the people that like don't take a joke on that stuff too. So what was your interaction with Tom? Were you on like a podcast with him or something like that, or?
No, it was funny because I was watching him on Joe Rogan once, and I was actually showing my girlfriend, and I was like, listen to this guy, he's actually really fucking funny. Because I love my comedians, obviously, because that's what I like to do, is watch a lot of comedy. And she was like, who is he? And his name is Tom Segura. So I was showing her on Instagram, and I went into his page, and it was like, follow back. And I was like, how was this cunt following me without me actually knowing?
Right.
So then I kind of got to know him, and he was touring Europe, and I met up with him a couple of weeks ago, and we did a strongman session together. It's up on my YouTube, but brilliant crack as well. You know, down to earth, like fucking was just there for the laugh.
Yeah, that's
really cool.
I gotta check that out then. Yeah, that's he's a good he's good too. I mean, so does he lift a little bit? Is he strong?
Yeah, he does a little bit. Now he was actually strong enough. Like we did we went through the basics of strongman, a couple of basic events. And we're doing the circus dumbbell, and I think he did like 60 or 65 kilos.
Okay.
You know, for a guy that's never really it was strong because like he only does fitness inside the gym. You know, he's not mad into heavy weights.
Right.
So for like a guy like that, with his lifestyle, I mean, like traveling a lot and never really getting to the gym, it was strong. You know.
Oh, that's.
But in terms of insulting people and people taking it the wrong way, there's only ever been one guy.
Who?
And like, it's typical, isn't it?
A power lifter?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jamal Browner?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's actually a fair point. So like your guys' back and forth, is it like, was he fun? Because I knew there was something there, but I didn't know, like, is he joking around having fun too, or was he not having fun with it then? Is like, what was it like?
I was having fun with it. He was not having fun with it.
Okay. So like, and then you guys eventually at the, was it the deadlift? I don't know, part of the Giants Live event where it's like the deadlift championship. You guys were there and both competed together in that then, right?
Yeah. So, like I did that, like, obviously when I take the piss out of someone like that and I do a reel, it's literally only because they're the best in the world at it. Like I wouldn't bother, you know, I'm not going to bother taking the piss out of a fucking mediocre powerlifter. I literally went after the best. And he happened to be a fucking sumo lifter as well.
The perfect storm.
Exactly, yeah. So then loads of people had sent me this fucking 500 kilo, I'm not going to call it sumo deadlift, I'm going to call it a sumo lift. Or a wide leg floor press. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do a reel in this. And I was in a good mood. So I just went along with it and did it. And it just fucking took off then. And he was tagged in it loads of times. And he took it really badly. So then all his little gay fanboys were coming after me and sending me fucking threats and all this fucking shit, and like I couldn't give a fuck. I
Yeah.
laughed at these fucking messages. So then he did this. What was it then? He commented on it a couple of times, and like if you look at the comments, like he wasn't having fun with it. He was being serious. He's like, "Who the fuck are you?"
Yeah.
I was like, "You know who I am now."
Yeah.
So then I did a second reel, and no, then he put out a YouTube video. And in the YouTube video, he was like, some fucking strongman, I don't know his name, did a reel today, and he says, it's just filled me with so much hate. And I don't hate anyone, but I really hate people that do that.
So did you guys talk at all at the event?
So I was going to kind of like break bread with him or whatever, you know, because
Right.
like I did message him after all that fucking shit. I was like,
Because you probably didn't. I assume you didn't really like. You never had any real bad feelings. You know, you weren't.
No.
Right.
Like, you know, I only took the piss out of him because he's the best in the world at sumo lift, and he's one of the best powerlifters of all time. And that's the only reason I did it. Like, it's kind of a piss take of me taking the piss. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, I'm the one people are laughing at because, like, I'm nowhere near a fucking 500 kilo deadlift. But anyway, he took it wrong. So then we were at the Giants Live, fast forward to Giants Live. And I was talking to one of my friends, and she was saying, just fucking talk to him. And I was like, yeah, I do know what I will, because like I genuinely want him to do well. I'd love if he did deadlift 1,000 pounds conventionally. And like I just want the best for him, because like I say, I have no bad feelings towards him or towards anyone like that in that sense. But then he comes down and he was talking to one of the lads, one of the pro strongmen there. And like I intended to go over and break bread with him. And then this professional strong, he's one of the most followed strongmen in the world. And he comes over to me, he's sitting down, and he goes, fuck me. Fucking Jamal Browner. He said, he comes over to me, he's like, are you here for the strongman show? Or are you just watching it, or who are you?
He said it
didn't
to
know
the
he
strong.
was.
Oh yeah. So it wasn't. Yeah. So he said it to. You know, I don't know who it was, but he said it to the likes of Tom Stoltman, Mitch Hooper, Brian
Yeah,
Shaw,
his big
Eddie
names.
Hall. Somebody that
Exactly.
carries
At that
some
level.
weight. Yeah.
Yeah, at that level.
Yeah.
He was like, so are you here for the strongman show, or what are you doing? Who are you?
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm competing today.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, I'm gonna leave it off. I didn't want to be in his head either and putting him off his lifting or whatever. So then we're obviously out and we're deadlifting. Like I got like loads of people were saying how shit I was, but like I got 2 weeks notice to this competition. I had no lifting done. I was on holidays, I was drinking and fuck acting. Like when I finished World's Strongest Man, I took 3 months off from lifting, and I just went back to being like taking the time, not training, eating whatever the fuck I want, drinking, doing all this fucking stupid shit. And then I started getting back training. I was prepping for Glasgow, so I was training I had 2 weeks training done. And Darren Giants Live was like, do you want to do this competition? And I was like, fuck it, I'll chance it. And that's all it was like 2 weeks notice. So I said I'd do it. And I was there supporting Graham Hicks as well, who was going for the world record. So like, I shouldn't have been there, to be honest. You know, I was not in a fit shape. I was only going to act the country, really. But at that level, at like that time frame, there'd no one else anyway to fill that spot. So I said I'd go. And I had no interaction with Jamal, and he went out and he did all his lifting. And then he failed the 1,000 pounds, and he was sitting backstage with kind of hands and his knees. And I walked up and I said, hard luck. I said, it was close. And I shook his hand, and that was the only interaction I had with him, really, you know.
Yeah.
Then he started talking shit about me to everyone after that. So,
So maybe it's not. Maybe there's more to come, to be continued. Then still,
it is. Yeah, it's to be continued, and he
to be
like, he's done-
continued.
Yeah, we're not done yet. I'd like to go back next year and have a 1,000 pound challenge with him.
Yeah.
Put some this, like, I haven't pulled 1,000 pounds yet, and he hasn't pulled 1,000 pounds yet. So I'd like to challenge him to go back to the World Deadlift Championships next year and challenge him for the 1,000-pound deadlift and put some weight in it.
Oh, people will be all for that that little matchup. It's smart though. It gets people excited about it. It gets people
That's
interested.
it, exactly. Because just obviously, I'm not sure if anyone's going to pull 505 next year, but it's something else to be looking forward to. Is watching two other cunts fighting over 1,000 pounds.
Yeah. You talked about it too. You've Ireland's Strongest Man before. Britain's competed Britain's Strongest Man, and we've talked about this with other people before. Maybe Laws, when we had him on here, he tried to explain it, or somebody did, and to be honest, I still don't understand it. Us Americans, can you explain I don't even know what the right word is to use it, but the UK geography, what is what and who is
how are things divided?
Yeah,
Okay.
It feels like if you draw circles around, it's yeah, I'm from Ireland, but I'm also here and there, and explain that to us the best you could.
Okay, so you have Ireland, right, which is the bottom part, and then you have Northern Ireland at the top part. Okay, so the north of Ireland is a part of the UK because Britain like to fucking take everything that's not belonging to them.
And where do you live?
So I'm in the south part. I'm in Ireland. Yeah.
So what a southern Ireland in that Ireland, you'd say that's someone from that part of Ireland would say that's real Ireland.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm Republic of Ireland, but Ireland is what we'd call it, is Ireland. And then you have the north of Ireland, which is part of the UK. And then you have Scotland, which is part of the UK. And you have England, which is part of the UK. And you have Wales, which is part of the UK. So you have 4 countries in the UK.
But in that, you never mentioned the words Britain or Great Britain.
See, then you have Britain, which is the Great British Isles, which is an old, outdated kind of geography map. I think it goes back to the 1800s. And it's kind of, no one really uses that to define a country anymore, except for England would be known as Britain. And that's... But see, if you look... it's one of the guys that works with Giants Live who tries to justify me being invited to Britain's Strongest Man.
Right.
Said that Ireland on an old map is part of the British Isles.
Right.
It's not.
So all of it could, by some people, be considered part of Britain.
Great British Isles. Yeah.
Yeah. It's confusing.
It is very confusing.
Very confusing. Yeah. Especially for Americans, because you don't learn much geography or history outside of America in school.
Honestly, not that much. No. We do have, everyone does have a U.S. history class, but I mean, we're in 1 year, we're all learning a little bit about every other part of the world besides us, so not really that much, honestly. So in Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, where you're at, do people only fly the Ireland flag? Is that the only flag you'd see flying around there then? Yeah. Okay.
In Ireland, the only flag you see is the Irish flag, yeah.
What about in Northern Ireland then? What flag do they fly there?
See, in Northern Ireland, you have both. You have Irish people who live north of Ireland, and you have people from the UK who would fly a Union Jack or an English flag.
Okay.
But they're very...
Would they fly a Union Jack flag or an English flag? The English flag is the red and white one, right? So some in Northern Ireland might fly that flag too?
Yeah, so typically the flag in the north of Ireland, if you're not Irish, is a Union Jack.
Okay.
That's the only flag I've seen up there, I think.
Okay.
No, I could be wrong, but that's the most common flag you'd see up there, other than the tricolour, which is our flag.
Right. But then if you were in England, would you see more of the Union Jack or the English flag? Which,
When you're in England, you won't see any flags because they're not trying to persuade you what they are and what they're not. Whereas in the north of Ireland, they're like, "Oh, we're Union Jack, and you're going to do nothing about it." And we're like, "We don't fucking care."
Right. And what about the Stoltmans in Scotland? Do they fly the Union? Would people there fly the Union Jack flag, or do they fly a Scottish flag there?
It's funny because I've seen Tom holding a Union Jack flag a couple of times.
Right.
And I'm not sure why, because if I was him, I'd be holding a Scottish flag. But then when he goes to World's Strongest Man, he holds a Scottish flag. So I don't know. I don't know the answer to that one.
Yeah.
If I was I don't know. Unless it's to do with their religion. Well, it is to do with their religion because that's what breaks up the Union Jack and the Irish flag in the north. Is you have Catholics and Protestants, which is funny because like if you look at the Irish flag, which is green, white, and gold, the gold part is to represent North of Ireland and the Protestants. And they're like, nah, we don't like that flag. We're getting our own flag.
Okay.
Like, okay. So even like when we go to rugby matches now, the World Cup, they will sing Ireland's call instead of our national anthem because our national anthem isn't inclusive enough of North of Ireland.
Okay.
There's a lot of rules and sub-rules to all of this.
Shit.
Well, see, all the rules are for the north. Like down here, we don't give a fuck. You know?
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
The majority down here these days are probably atheists.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about this? I'm just purely curious. So, the United States, there's 50 states. You don't have to name them, but how many states of 50 do you think you would know the name of?
I'd know the name of the majority of them, I think. Yeah.
You would. Okay.
Yeah.
We're from South Dakota. We have to get you to come to South Dakota sometime. We're right in the
Is
middle.
that a state?
Barely, yeah.
I haven't heard of that state. There must be no one popular from there. So is
Now
North Dakota a state as well?
Yes.
Yeah. North Dakota's that. If you can believe it or not, that's right above us.
That's weird.
It's kind of like the North Island Ireland thing, you know. Like it's kind of it's kind of like that.
Yeah, we're the real one. The North one's
Yeah, it's
debatable.
just like that actually. That's just like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know a lot about well, so you see a lot of it in fucking films, don't you? With American history and the Civil War and
Right.
all that shit. You're
Like,
you're a president. You have a great line of presidents, don't you?
Older ones.
What is wrong with Biden?
I mean, I just we don't get very political, but I would say this: I'm not really in favor of anyone being president. That's like I like because we'll have an election coming up soon, and everyone wears like election T-shirts, and my favorite one showing up now is just like they're saying anyone under 70 years old, like because our last two presidents have just been so old and like maybe borderline senile that it's like. Can we just get anyone that's like, not my great grandfather's age, Like
Half
that would be
Dodgers.
my hottest take on that. Yeah. What about when you come to the U.S. to compete? Because you obviously have, here for World's Strongest Man and stuff like that. Would you say anything that really sticks out as your favorite part of coming here or anything that you really dislike about coming here too?
I thought when I went to America that I'd love the food, but anytime I've gone to America, the food has been a bit shit. No, that's the food that's provided to us, obviously.
Right.
But me and Tom Stoneman, and we went to that food outlet. God, I won't be able to think of the name of it now.
Costco?
Cheesecake Factory.
Cheesecake Factory. Yeah.
Oh, that's it, isn't it? Yeah. We went there. Fuck, the food was so good there. Oh my God. It was so good. And like that's the year that Tom won as well. So
secret sauce.
Is it a coincidence?
So you like Cheesecake Factory? Okay.
Fuck the food. Yeah. What's like your national food?
Oh, America is known for a lot of things. Pizza,
cheeseburgers, tacos,
all those
everything else, everything that comes from other countries. Yeah.
You're worse than England for robbing shit.
Yeah. There isn't. That's kind of the thing. Like there isn't anything like that. I don't think. Is there, Tom? I mean, it's
American pie.
I mean,
hamburger.
I guess to me, if you had to say like what is the most American food, I'd probably say barbecue. Right? Wouldn't that be the answer?
I would almost think like a grilled steak. Like that's. But we're from the Midwest. South Dakota's in the Midwest of the region of the United States, and we're very much more rural. There's not big cities around where we're at, so it's a lot more of a rural vibe. So it really depends on where you're at. If you go into Southwest, it's going to be all Mexican food because they're influenced so much by that. If you go to Florida, like it's going to have Cuban influences. If you go to New York, it's going to be probably very Italian influence, and it's just different wherever you're at. Where that's why I always think it's like steak and potatoes almost, but that's just because of where we live.
Yeah, I would say it would be like a hamburger.
Yeah, Yeah, I think that's fair. What is? I mean, Ireland. The joke is like everyone talks about potatoes. Like, do you eat a lot of potatoes?
That's racist.
It's really funny you said that's racist because I had that on before Tommy and I start. We always talk about a few topics, and one of them I had on there was potatoes, and I'm like, that might be racist. I'm not actually sure.
Hot button,
yeah.
to be talking about.
And then I'm like, I don't know, maybe it's not racist. I'm not really sure. So is that racist?
So what's your take on potatoes? You won't offend me. So if you have anything that you're questioning about, I'd rather you say it.
Well, I think potatoes are great.
Well, I think they're amazing.
Naturally.
Obviously.
You know your game, Dick or Jeeps?
Yeah.
We've got a little game here today. It's called Sumo or Sumo. And I'm going to hold up, we got just a couple of them. I'm going to hold up a picture. I'm going to look at it, and you have to guess whether I'm looking at a sumo deadlift or a sumo fighter, a sumo wrestler. So, yeah, sumo wrestler, whatever the hell they do.
Is that what you call them in Dakota?
It's the sport's
Sumo
not very
fighter.
popular around here. So.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, sumo fighter. Do you ever go like this? Yeah.
That's racist.
Do you know about Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish, big college university in Indiana?
South
Notre Dame,
Bend, isn't it?
South Bend, Indiana. They're the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, really popular football college team. Do you know about them at all?
I know about them because they played over here, I think maybe 2 months ago over in Dublin.
Okay.
Mitch from World's Strongest Man wanted me to hook up with them and try and do some shit, but the timing was fucking off and he couldn't.
Okay.
So was that the first time you'd ever heard of that though? Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Are
do you know what their logo?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen their logo?
What is it, like a leprechaun or something?
It's like a little fighting leprechaun
doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Isn't like the Boston Celtics basketball team a logo of a leprechaun doing that too?
Leprechaun as
like
well,
that?
probably, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Lucky Charm cereal. Do you guys have Lucky Charm cereal there?
I was just going to say, isn't that one of your most popular cereals over there?
Yeah. Do you have that?
No, but you can't get that at all.
The famous catchphrase is "They're always after me, Lucky Charms."
Yeah, I did like a segment for World's Strongest Man this year, and I was like a curtain. I was like this, and I had to come up and be like, "Where are me Lucky Charms?"
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so I'm looking at a picture right now. Do you have sumo or sumo?
Sumo fighter.
You're correct. Can you see that very well coming through?
Jesus. Yeah, Eddie Hall.
Okay. All right. Let's see. I'll do one more here. No, let's go to this one. Okay. Sumo or sumo?
See, I can see by your face you're kind of frowning your side, so you're looking at the sumo deadlift.
Is that coming across? You catch
Yes,
Yeah, there it is.
that? The guy's got his he's got his feet
Your-
outside of the plates.
I can see a picture of tits in your other pictures.
Hey, you weren't supposed to see all that.
Private stuff here.
All right, last
who's
one
she?
here. Last one here. Sumo or sumo?
Sumo deadlift. Damn, son. Not
Big
that
Jamal.
guy.
There was we won't do this one. It was a bonus one. Do you know who this is? Sumo wrestling here.
Oh, that's Kazmar, isn't it?
Yeah, that's Kazmaier. Yeah. That's a joke we stole from you where it's Dick or Jeep where you look at
Sumo. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
have that one. Maybe
Why-
change the name of it though from like sumo fighter to sumo wrestler.
We'll work on that for round.
Well, yeah, that's in the
We're still
research and
working
development
the
phase.
kinks out of it here.
We know you guys speak differently there. I thought Irish people said sumo fighter. Like
We were trying to be accommodating.
Yeah, just trying to make it easy for you.
Do you remember that game Street Fighter?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Wasn't that fat guy fucking a sumo fighter?
Yeah, actually, you could make the argument that he was a sumo fighter. I'd believe that.
Like you're saying, he was an actual sumo fighter. He wasn't a sumo wrestler. He was a sumo fighter.
I can remember his logo being a sumo fighter. As far as I could be wrong.
See, so
He'd
that's
have the hand
I
would go
wasn't
up and
wrong.
down. His hand would go up and down really fast like this. That was a special move. Yeah.
You say you don't. I've seen it before because we've been harassing you about getting you on our podcast for days now, and you say you don't like doing podcasts. Like, do you try to avoid doing podcasts whenever possible?
Yeah, well, it's not that I don't like doing podcasts. It's, do you know when you get a podcaster and he's dry,
Yeah,
and you're kind of sitting there and you're answering questions about geography.
It sounds like you're describing this episode.
yeah, that seems really familiar. Yeah, I would hate that.
I don't like Zoom because I don't think you can get the full feel of the conversation over over a camera. I'd prefer if I was sitting there so we could have a proper slag.
Have an Irish whiskey and really do it right together.
Exactly. Yeah. Smoke a joint and laugh at your laugh at your hair because I'm jealous I have none.
Okay, we've got this other little game we like to play. It's not Dick or Jeep. It's not Sumo or Sumer. It's overrated or underrated. So we've got a series of topics that are just for you, and you just got to decide if each one is overrated or underrated. You can say whatever you want to about it, but you just can't ride the line. You have to take a hard stance. So you could offend some people here, on your hard stances, but you're probably all right with that, I would guess.
I hope so.
Okay. Overrated or underrated, Glenn Ross?
Underrated.
So who is Glenn Ross for anyone that doesn't know?
Glenn Ross I think he was statically the strongest man of all time in around the year of 2001, maybe. He was just so fucking strong. Now, I know I don't get on with him, obviously, because we've fallen out, but you can't.
Oh, yeah, I don't know that. I just knew that he's so I didn't know there's falling out or anything, but.
Yeah, we don't talk anymore.
Okay.
So, yeah, he was one of the strongest guys of all time ever. If you remember back to, I don't know if you've seen the Arnold Classic in 2001, and they had won the axle, which is 163 kilos for reps. And because Glenn Ross was so big and awkward, I don't know if you can see the camera now, he was cleaning the axle up to here. So he had a really weird way of cleaning the axle. So one hand was in here and the other hand was way out here. And he was strict pressing it like that. And he strict pressed, I can't remember, it was 5 or 6 reps, and he won the event. And everyone else is split jerking, push pressing, and he was just out there banging out strict pressing.
It was probably against Mark Henry, I would guess, and some of those guys.
Exactly, yeah. He was just strict press. Yeah, Mark Henry was he was before Glenn Ross's time. I think Mark Henry was there in the first year. But even him, he was there and he was split jerking it, I think, or squat jerking it, and Glenn Ross just strict pressing that out. He also got the Hummer deadlift world record, and I think he got the dumbbell press record as well. So even though I don't get on with the cunt, he's probably underrated because he never made it to the World's Strongest Man final.
Okay. All right. Underrated then. Okay. You just let us know if you don't know what this is. We'll explain it if we need to. I don't know what the terminology, but overrated or underrated Irish goodbyes. Do you know what an Irish goodbye is?
Oh, yeah. Go on. I'll see you later. Bye.
Well, around here, so I don't know. An Irish goodbye in the States, if someone says an Irish goodbye, it means you leave without saying anything to anyone. Say you're at a party with all your buddies, and you're like, I know if I say I'm leaving, they'll all harass me and try to get me to stay, and I don't want to talk to anyone. So if you Irish goodbye, you just walk out and never say a word to anyone. Have you ever heard that before?
I've never heard of that, actually. No, and that's something that I do quite often.
That makes sense.
Because I can't be asked explaining why I'm leaving, so I literally stand up and walk away.
That's the Irish goodbye.
Yeah.
That's why I do it. It's because I'm Irish.
It's part of who
So
you are.
overrated or underrated?
I suppose that's underrated. I didn't even know I did it.
So maybe you all do that, and that's why it's called that.
Yeah, well, because my sisters as well do it. Chris, Chris, who comes on my YouTube from time to time, she's a fucker for doing it as well. We'll be out and Chris is gone.
Now you can tell everyone that they just pulled a sweet Irish goodbye.
In Ireland, it's just called a goodbye, I suppose. Chris just did a goodbye.
That's just what we do. Okay.
Just love learning about other cultures on this show.
Okay. Overrated or underrated Jameson Irish whiskey?
Overrated.
What do you drink if you're do you drink do you drink beer, brewskis, or do you drink liquor, or like you said, if you're off season, you're doing some drinking and stuff? What would be your go-to?
I don't drink whiskey anymore because when I think I was like 15, I robbed a bottle of it, and me and another guy and a girl were drinking it, and we drank the full bottle of whiskey, and we woke up the following day covered in vomit and sweat and naked.
So that was the last time.
So I said, I'm not drinking whiskey anymore because it hurt my ass.
So do people drink Jameson in Ireland?
They would, yeah. Yeah, to be one of the whiskies that'd be, I suppose, stocked in most bars here. Probably the most common one would be Paddy. Paddy's whiskey, it's called. Ironically named.
Yeah. Okay. All right. As long as we're on the Irish theme, one more here. Overrated or underrated? You again might not know what this is. That's why I like all these things we call Irish, and you're like, what is that? I've never even heard of that. Okay. Overrated or underrated? An Irish car bomb. Have you ever heard of an Irish car bomb? It's a drink.
I was going to say, is it a cocktail? Yeah.
Yeah. What is an Irish car bomb, Tommy?
It's you have a just about a pint of Guinness, not quite full, and then you drop a shot of Jameson into it, and then you chug the whole thing.
Oh, that's all it is.
Yeah, am I saying that wrong?
No, I think that's right. I think that's right.
I thought there'd be more to it.
No, I think that's what it is. So have you ever had that? Like, does anyone say Irish car, like order us up a couple Irish car bombs?
No,
sorry, I got that slightly mixed up. The shot is Irish whiskey and Irish cream in the shot, and then you drop it into the Guinness.
So the cream just made
there's the cream in there too, yeah.
Yeah.
No, actually, I came across that World's Strongest Man this year. I saw it on the menu somewhere, and I was like, a car bomb. Can't say that where I'm from.
That has a slightly different meaning than in some context, I guess.
Like, do you want a car bomb? Not again.
Yes. Okay, last one here, and this one's worth all the marbles, so it's very important. Overrated or underrated? U2.
Overrated.
Do
you like U2?
No, I don't think a lot of people
really
do. Well, I don't know. Some people really like U2 though, I guess, but it's not our cup of tea, as the Brits might say.
I can't say how them fucking wankers are anyone's tea. Because I remember I came across on Twitter it was like top 10 rock bands of all time, and U2 was like number 4, and I was like, no, they're not. Because probably the reason they made that list is because they're around so fucking long. Like, they're around since the 70s, and they're still together fucking... And I find all their songs sound the same. It's the same fucking racket, and he can't sing.
It all sounds the same. Yeah.
Yeah, it all sounds the fucking same.
Do they have a big following in Ireland?
Not really, no.
Okay.
No, they're more American now these days, aren't they?
That's what I mean, that's kind of how it comes off.
They're over in that big fucking sphere over Las Vegas.
I saw that. That's kind of crazy, though.
Yeah, it looks fucking weird, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'd like to go there. Imagine watching porn on that thing.
Wow.
Just with
10,000
other people.
Could beat off in unison.
It's so awkward, 10,000 other people. Like a big, massive black dick appears.
It's only awkward if you're the last one standing. You want to get done early and go away. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, U2, you're not going to any big U2 concert soon.
No, I wouldn't go off. I wouldn't listen to them if they're out there on the street fucking singing.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, shut up.
Tommy was talking about 1 year for Apple on like iPhones. Every phone came with like a YouTube. Was it a full album? Was it YouTube full album?
Yeah, I think they put a full YouTube album on everyone's phone. Was that in like, I don't know, 2012 maybe?
I remember that came out, yeah, because it's still on my fucking album. And you can't delete it either.
Yeah, you had to go through some crazy steps to remove it. Yeah, it was a whole process.
Yeah. It's like fucking burn your cat to get it off.
Yeah. So good news. It looks like you passed overrated, underrated. So it's a pretty big achievement. You know, it's right up there with Ireland's Strongest Man sort of stuff. So congrats.
I'm so happy.
We'll
is your real first name Tanner?
Yeah.
Is that like a name?
Tommy, I'm pretty used to it at this point, but like, it's
to me that's a very American name. Like, there's lots of Tanners around.
It's not like a Bill, Bob, John, Jeff, but it's like out of a few hundred people, a few hundred men, you might run into one with that name or something like that. It's kind of uncommon, yeah.
It is uncommon, yeah. It's like when you were born, the doctor says to your mother, rhymes with spanner. Tanner.
Well, as long as we're on, is Pa your real name?
It is, yeah, but it's short for Patrick.
Oh, okay.
Is that a common abbreviation in Ireland?
It would be here, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I've never heard of that as a way to abbreviate it. Because my dad's name is Patrick, and I've never in my life heard of anyone ever saying Pa as a short for that.
Pa's what you call like
your dad.
Like
you call Pa,
your dad.
Yeah,
like your Pa.
Yeah, so I'm your daddy.
That's what I've made this comment on your post several times by Massenomics. But it could be anything, and I always just like to bust out. His name might be Pa, but you can just call him Daddy, and like that always gets a good reaction, good number of likes from people whenever I put that on one of your posts.
That never actually dawned on me that's what you meant.
Really?
I thought you were just calling me Daddy.
No, yeah. I mean, you are Daddy, but like it was because of the Pa Daddy thing.
Yeah, so there's a couple of abbreviations of Patrick. There's like Pa, Pat, Paddy, Padraig, Porrick. I think that's it.
And is it
Patsy?
Is it the most common name in Ireland?
Patrick?
Yeah.
It is actually the most common name in Ireland, I think, is Paddy Murphy.
Oh, okay.
I can see that. Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah. It's kind of, I mean, if you were from here, you'd say John Smith, right? Like John Smith is the most common name, and John Smith.
But it's funny because like it's literally my name is only 2 letters. And when I go to America or the UK, you can't fucking pronounce it. Even when you say it there, you're putting an R at the end. Par.
Pa. Yeah, Pa. So you say it once. How do you say it right? Pa.
Pa, yeah. Pa.
Pa.
And then I got to America, it's like, par. No, there's no W's or extra R's.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, I never even really realized that was short from Patrick. I would not have thought that. Yeah.
I have to spell it a few times for people as well. Like, what's your name? Pa. Can you spell that? P-A. Complicated. There's no hidden letters there.
That neither letter is silent. It's P-A, Pa. Yeah.
P-G-A.
Silent G.
When's the next time you're competing now?
I've actually got Ireland's Strongest Man this Saturday.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so
what's it looking like for you? How are you gonna do?
Yeah, I'll probably win it again, unless I make an awful fuck up, which is possible because I am known to fuck up. But no, they're good enough events for me, and there's probably not anyone here fully that could challenge me yet.
So can someone from Northern Ireland compete in it?
Yep. We actually have a guy competing in it from Australia who claims to be Irish. You know those guys. But they're allowing him competing in it. But I think it's good. It's good to let him compete in it. So I'm looking forward to that. And then I have Britain's Strongest Man in January. And Britain's Strongest Man is crazy, but because the lineup for Britain's is like you got both Stoltmans. You have Graham Hicks, you have Luke Stoltman or Luke Richardson,
Oh yeah,
He's
he's back and back at it now
back,
too.
yeah, he's really fucking strong as well. And you've Gavin Bilton.
Yeah,
Who else have you got? And then you've Adam Bishop, who's the current champion.
yeah. Did he get hurt
Uh,
though recently, or is he coming back? Did he have a bad injury, or am I wrong?
you know what? And it's something that's really fucking annoying me in Strongman is these shit referees. Strongman has nothing but arseholes for referees. And it's really like, it's just because there's no standard across the board with refereeing and Strongman. It's like, let's get someone who won World's Strongest Man fucking 20 years ago to referee it. But anyway, long story short, Bish was at the Brian Shaw competition. What was it called? The
Strongest Man on Earth.
Strongest Man on Earth.
Yeah.
So he has the strictest referees on Earth. So Adam Bishop, so they were made press the log, and the log was a 1-2 count. So Adam has a bit of he tore his tricep 2 years ago, so his lockout was a bit shit. And he was like holding it, and because he couldn't lock out one arm, the referee was like this. And Adam was like this, please give me the lockdown, and poof, his pec went. So he tore his pec there. So he's come back for Britain. So I think he started his training back this week. So he's recovered. Did you watch The Rogue?
Yeah.
Strongman.
What'd you think? I was actually kind of bashing the events a little bit earlier, that I didn't think that those were awesome events. I think that here I'll just say my thoughts, and you tell me where I'm full of shit and what you think and what you know. And so the first one, I don't think that deadlift looks good when they're up on that big apparatus. I know what they're trying to make it look like, but I think it just looks like shit. I think it just looks like you're deadlifting an empty bar when you're up there. Like, it doesn't look like anything, and it looks real wobbly and looks odd. That where Trey tore his Achilles, I didn't particularly like the way that pull was. It didn't look like it was the same for everyone. It looked I don't know, it looked off. And then the final event, the sandbags, that was so damn fast. I couldn't tell when the 5 people were going, it looked like they all finished at exactly the same time. Like, I couldn't even tell there seemed like no separation there. So that was my thoughts on it. You tell us what's up with it.
I would agree with you. It was absolute dog shit.
Okay.
For a company of that caliber with that amount of money, and like, I was talking to the guys as the competition was going on, and they were literally making up events and sorting out events as the day was going on. These fuckers do one strongman competition a year, and they're planning events the day of the competition. And plus, there's a lot of fucking money in the line as well. Do you know?
Were they dropping events too, though, on the last minute?
Was it because of the weather, or like, what were they doing? Like, what were they?
That's no excuse, because like, one of the events they made 4 event changes, which is unheard of in professional strongman. Like, you'd have that shit at a car park show where the rain or something like that would dominate some of the events. But like, the Rogue have an inside venue, so there was no reason to drop events. One of the events they dropped was the axle press. They said because it's raining. I was like, why can't you do the axle press inside? There's no reason to not do it inside. I'd say something if it was a truck pull or something where they couldn't bring the truck inside, because they had that issue at World's Strongest Man in Bradenton. But yeah, that deadlift looks shit. It looked like, as you were saying, an empty bar. Like, people forget there was 411 kilos on that bar, which is like 910 pounds, I think, in the bar.
Just doesn't transfer over good when you're watching it, though. When there's Hummer tires or just straight weight, or you see what people are picking up and it looks like something, but I didn't like that.
Especially like with the price of equipment. Like, I can guarantee you that stupid equipment costs probably in around $200,000.
Right.
And it looks enormous. It's like, who the fuck have they planning these events? Look, but I know who's planning them, a fucking CrossFitter. And that's why they came across so shit. But the deadlift looked awful, because the strongest guy, like Tom Sloatman, is the strongest 18-inch deadlifter in the world, because he pulled the most amount of weight at the Shaw Classic, and he only pulled 4 reps of this. But the lads were saying there's a weird technique with it that you had to, if you misaligned with the deadlift bar, that it would pull you over your legs. Yeah. So that again is stupid to me. That fucking stupid bullshit pull, I was calling it. there was a wooden bull on top of steel track. So the steel track was wrapped around a wooden. So after a couple of goes, after Mateus
Right.
first goal, and he finished it in like 20 seconds, he did it
Right.
easy as well. And I know he's probably the best puller in the world, but he's not beating guys by that amount. So what happened was the wood swelled up and the track got jammed.
Yeah, that's what it
then-
looked like as they were pulling. They could get a little ways, and then it looked like it was almost just like stuck, like pulling
Yeah,
something
so-
that almost wouldn't move, kind of. You
Yeah,
know?
it went harder as it went on, and that's when Rogue should have stepped in and said, "Okay, guys, just put their hands up and say, look, there's something wrong here. We need to cancel this event before someone gets hurt." They didn't do that, and someone got fucking hurt. Trey pulled his Achilles off his leg, and that's him out for
A long time. Yeah.
a long time. It's 3 to 6 months, and I hate when that shit happens when athletes are getting injured over stupid shit. And like you said there, the last event was the biggest anticlimax since my first ride. It was fucking over before it started.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like it got over. And I'm like, I don't even know who was. I don't even know what happened. And like the tipping thing, like I don't know. It doesn't matter. Like if the rest of it was fine, I wouldn't even think about it. But just adding on to it, like that tipping mechanism, I'm like, they had like. I was just thinking about even setting that up. To set up 5 of those, each one had like 40 plates on it. I'm like, someone had to load like like 150 plates, like to do this little tipping wheelbarrow thing that like almost looked like nothing. It just didn't.
It was pointless. It was so much effort for such a pointless event.
Yes.
I can't understand it.
Yeah.
But even like before the log press, I was talking to the lads and I was texting them. I said, "What do you do next? What's the story?" And they said, "We have no idea what's coming next." These are competitors at a competition, a strongman competition, where there's 145,000 on the line, and they don't even know what the next event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It couldn't be more amateur if they tried.
If you end up winning first place, you probably at the end of the day you're like, oh, that's all right. That's okay. I don't mind the way they did it. But if you're in the running for it and you don't, then you probably think, well, that sucked. You know, like that's not right.
Well, Noah Hooper obviously won it, Mitchell Hooper,
right?
And he tends to say what's on his mind. So I wouldn't be surprised if he comes out and say it was absolute dog shit.
Right. When if you're not there, you're not at an international competition, or it's like World's Strongest Man, you didn't make the finals, but you're there watching. Do you cheer then for the other UK lifters usually? Yeah,
I would. Yeah, I'd cheer for him as much as I could. And it's not just the UK guys that I'd be friends with. It'd be like all of the guys. Like I'd
just your buddies then, pretty much.
Exactly. Well, I'd help anyone. Even the new guys that are coming in, I'd give them loan of my tacky or my tape or anything like that. You know, I'd try and help anyone out.
If it was Jamal Browner, you'd let him borrow your straps that are halfway broken through or something, you know, that are about ready to snap.
I'm nice, but I'm not that nice.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't be like that at all. If it was a thing, even in Cardiff when we were doing the deadlift championships and he needed a strap or something, I'd give it to him. Do you know, I wouldn't be bitter like that at all.
That's good. Where do people check your stuff out at? YouTube channel? You've been doing a lot more of that in like the last, has it been like a year, or how long have you been more active on your YouTube?
I've you know what, I haven't been that active on it recently, but I'm going to get more active on it. Like once I get Ireland's out of the way, I want to really start pushing it. So I was kind of like just going to do like commentating and stuff. Like I watched the Rogue live. I'm hoping to do a couple more collabs as well, like meet up with other people and just fucking do strongman shit or lifting and shit.
Yeah,
but it's hard because there's not that many, there's not that many big names here into lifting and stuff like that.
We'll let you know the next time we're in Ireland, and we can.
Let me know. Yeah, we can
make something happen.
Some shit. Eat some potatoes.
We'll bring the Irish car bombs.
Yeah,
just the drink. We want to make sure they let us in. You know. Yeah. Oh, you must be a dad too. So are we.
Yeah, this is Freddie. You saying hi?
Yeah. Hey, Freddie.
Hey, Freddie.
Hi. His name is Tanner.
She's like, that's not a name.
He's like, that's not a name.
What were his parents thinking?
These are wacky Americans.
No, go in a second. Come
on. No, we'll wrap up anyways. We even though you don't like podcasts, we appreciate you coming on.
We had a lot of fun.
Our listeners are very excited to hear you on our podcast. So you've been a long anticipated guest, so it'll be good.
Yeah. It was good fun. I might actually do more of them now.
No, the rest of them
all
aren't as
downhill
good
from
as
here.
ours.
Yeah,
the rest of them you're not going to enjoy. So
Probably not. No, I was like, no, sorry, I'm not doing any more this time. Do you know? I meant to go on. It's probably the only other one I'll do is your mama's house.
Oh, okay.
From Segura's podcast, I might try and get on that.
Oh, yeah.
That would be awesome to do.
Yeah,
that would be
gotta
very
do that.
cool. Yeah.
He's a fun.
He's got to get you on Rogan then.
Yeah, that'd be cool as well, because a couple of other strongmen have been on Rogan.
Mm-hmm.
Oberst and
Rob Kearney has.
Rob Kearney.
Rob Kearney, yeah. Rob Kearney.
And no coincidence, those guys have both been on our podcast. So that's probably, you're well on your way now.
It's a stepping stone right here.
Yeah, we're kind of like a stepping stone to get to Rogan, you know.
This is a stepping stone.
They're always looking at what we're doing.
He's like, oh, they got Pa on. We'll consider it now.
Ooh, we might get him. Do you know who's, another podcaster I actually like is Theo Von.
Oh, yeah. He's very American. You know, that's a very taste of America if you listen to Theo Von.
He's a real fucking southern accent, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah. Yes. Can you pick apart the different accents from America then? Like we've got kind of a Midwest, Minnesota, almost Canadian accent. Can you tell the differences?
I can probably tell the difference between maybe, like, I know you've got hundreds of accents over there, but like New York accent is very distinct. Like a southern accent is obviously very distinct. And then you've got the rest.
Yeah. That's right.
Pretty close, yeah.
I can't really tell the difference between like an Irish, English, Australian, so it's kind of all the same to me.
Yeah, but if the three of us were in the same room, you would be like, why are you talking like that?
True. Okay.
It's funny.
Right.
Like Ireland isn't even that big, but if you go 20 minutes into the next town, even a half an hour, you'll find a different accent. You go a half an hour beyond that, you'll find a different accent.
And they would definitely all sound the same to me. I would not be able to pick about different Irish accents. There's no way.
All you can hear is potatoes.
Yeah.
Oi!
Yeah. Hey,
they're always after me, Lucky Charms.
Guinness. Bitches.
Cunt. We don't really say cunt. You guys say cunt all the time.
Yes, that doesn't really get brought up here.
Yeah, it's really offensive in America, isn't it?
Yeah, it is pretty offensive. Like, you guys just say it like, it's like, oh, shit. You say, oh, cunt. But, like, if you call someone a cunt here, you're probably
you're
like,
turning some heads at that point.
They're probably gonna do the Irish this if you call them that, you know.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, it's very, like, over here, it's kind of like a word of endearment.
Yeah.
So if I was describing someone I like, I'd say, yeah, he's a sound cunt. Or he's a nice cunt. Oh, he's nice. And I think that's probably one of the things that fucking Jamal kind of missed. I probably called him a cunt. And he was like, that dude called me a cunt. Right.
Because it does mean if somebody, you know, if someone said they called me a cunt, I'd be like, wow,
like, man, what did we do?
Yeah, holy shit! Like
the first thing you should ask is he Irish? Yes.
Yeah. But do English people use it like that though too?
Yeah, English people would as well, and Australians I think use it that way.
Okay.
It's just kind of Americans that are offended.
Yeah,
we haven't caught up to it yet.
It hasn't gotten here yet.
Yeah.
Oh, do you have a Halloween sucker?
It's do you have them in America? Chuba Chubs.
No.
That's the camera.
I don't think.
No, never heard of that.
Does not seem familiar to me.
It's like the main lollipop in Ireland or Europe.
Not like a Tootsie. Like what's that thing? Like a Tootsie.
Yeah, like a Tootsie Pop, or a Blow Pop.
Are
we still talking about lollipop?
A little something different.
Out of context, it does sound a little different.
You want to do what to me?
Oh, that's only if you win Ireland's Strongest Man again.
Just a good old American congratulations.
Yeah. Tanner head.
All right, Pa. All right, Par. It was nice talk. It was good talking to you. we appreciate your time, and we'll do this again sometime if we can talk you down being another podcast someday.
Definitely, yeah. I look forward to the next time we do it.
Awesome.
All right, we look forward to the Pau Dwyer Jamal Browner sumo fight too. So
The race to 1,000.
yeah,
Awesome.
followed by a sumo fight.
Yes. Sumo fighters.
Super fighters fight.
All right. Thanks a lot, Pa.
See you later.
Thanks, guys. I'll see you later.
Cool beans.
There it is.
Irish cool beans, potato beans,
Irish potato beans. He's got them.
A double serving.
Just another day at the office.
Just another day at the office for Pa. You know who else it's another day at the office for?
Who?
Build Fast Formula. Are you tired of supplements that just don't work? You take them, you wait a few minutes, maybe an hour or two, and then absolutely nothing. Here's why. Most supplements are underdosed. They contain fillers, cost-cutting compounds, and the thing I hate, the proprietary blends, because it just confuses you. You don't know what's actually in there. Maybe it's not your fault. Maybe your supplements just suck. Well, thankfully for you, our fellow South Dakotans at Build Fast Formula are making high-quality product formulas that contain clinically dosed, research-backed compounds with no unnecessary fillers, so you can build towards your goals faster and finally feel a difference in the gym. Here's the best part. Massenomics listeners can save 10% off at Build Fast Formula. Get your Vaso Blitz, get your 80-20 protein, get your pre-workout supplements, all of it at buildfastformula.com. Discount code Massenomics will save you 10% on that order, and save an additional 10% off if you subscribe to a subscription model. So 10 plus 10, that's 20%. I think even in Ireland you could save 20%. I don't think they ship internationally, but in theory, if they did,
you could
check out buildfastformula.com. Discount code Massenomics. Save money. Thank you.
And this episode is also brought to you by Bearfoot Shoes and the Ursanomics, their first ever collaboration with Massenomics. It combines the strength, durability, and comfort of suede leather with lightweight and breathable canvas for a shoe that sits at the top of the food chain. Its wide, flat physique offers a stable podium for your powerful paws while you're traveling the Great Plains of western northeast South Dakota. Whether you're establishing dominance in the squat rack or your favorite watering hole, the sneaker lets everyone know you lift hard and live easy. Reserve your pair of the Ursanomics now at www.barefoot.store. We're down to less than 50 pairs left, so you're going to want to take advantage of that. Time is ticking. And to make the deal even sweeter, when you add some awesome wraps to your cart and use code MASS, M-A-S-S, you'll get the awesome wraps for free. So make sure you head over to barefoot.store, order the Ursanomics. It's almost gone. Add the awesome wraps, use code MASS, you'll get the wraps for free, and then you're going to be looking good and having a good time. Thank you, Bearfoot Shoes.
Yeah, just one other update, I guess, if you're waiting on if you've already pre-ordered the Ursanomics. There was a little bit of a hang-up in the shipment, and it looks like that should still get to Fargo within the first week or two of November. And they'd get filled right after that, so it's looking more like November now. Maybe you could even say mid-November to be safer.
It's definitely not October, being that is November 1st as of the time of recording.
True.
So October would be in the past.
Yes, we can safely say it will be in November now. Hopefully not too much longer, though.
Oh, man, Tanner, I had to pee before we started that podcast, and I am about ready to pop over
and
here.
It just went away? You don't have to pee anymore?
My body just absorbed it back in. I'm running crazy efficient right now.
I think that's all right. We're probably good to wrap this one up anyways, aren't we?
I think so.
Check out Massenomics.com. That's where you can sign up to become a supporting member. We would love it if you became a supporting member, even if you don't want to buy anything from our shop. Sign up to become a supporting member, Massenomics.com/join. There's multiple levels there that you can choose. And then in addition to that, please also do buy something from our shop. Buy a drink spotter. Keep your drinks safe. This is the drink spotter light magnet version. We also have the rack-mounted original stainless steel drink spotters. We've got caps, shorts, shirts, sweatshirts. Buy one of our hoodies. Buy our windbreaker jacket, zip-up jacket, and a bunch more coming for Black Friday. Stay tuned for that. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. YouTube channel growing significantly.
Leaps and bounds.
It is really growing. We're continuing to put out new videos there every week. Check that out. Tommy, where do they find you at?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can follow me at Tanner_Baird, but just make sure to follow Massenomics at Massenomics.
See ya.